numbers that have conversation. Which is when they're all minutes. This comes message and what works in their office. You want to have this in their office. They have a well, that wasn't for you, but he's food relationships, or just general. And he said, something wrong. That's really not part of it. You're right, but I think it would be nice for them, but they like with our daughter. Maintaining and gratitude, beauty and regardless, you know, the child, in other words, she never had. We're crossing our numbers. It's all the voice. I'm starting to think it's right. I'm starting to think it's right. I can hear you, and you know what? I'm on the way to meet. I find out that you got home, sure, that was like, right. And I'm like, oh, it's our dreams. Like, you got like, we are, and it was like, they'll say, I like you so much. Oh, my God, you're so much. So we got all of the lines, 4,000, she just says, I'm not, I don't think I want to like, like, yeah. So that was, see my hammer, so I just found out. Okay, and he's good. Yeah. He's supposed to have some stars. It's the rich. Where like the car shrimp it's went down. It's like I don't know I mean how many like staggering tries to but it's not you have sense. No, that's fine right. It's right. Don't know how you think into your drama. So sure I can find that time. We have sweat here. You're from the way of it. Five years. You won't be able to act from confirmation. No, officer, I know, you from my table when it's like it's a one. Yeah. So you really don't want to. So you could try to move from out. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's right. That's right. So it's, different word. 4 or 5 years ago, it was not going to get out. She said, it's not there, it's not there. Feels like. Anybody else is over the chair? Hey, you're not up there. Hey, you're over there. He's trying to catch real thing. Your mother's really make her really fine. Like, you want to get this shit. That's yeah, children. Right there. I'm just going to be one. But if you want, that's a fair thing. Yeah, saying, yeah. And for her, so. No, I'm not. Very comes here. When she has her and her share. That's where I would be. I'm gonna call the meeting into order. Yeah, at 6:39. I just. So we have the one. Two. Well, I just have some, I would reach back, I moved in, and then they got. Actually, I'm sorry, Tim. When you speak to our, clerk, so I'm not trying to handle it. So, even though. Where? That's it. And we pleasantly. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. Months I petition this. Please be seated. Mr. President, before we sit down, one of our council members from previously council had passed away this past week. Bryce King. So just another moment of silence for Bryce. Thanks, Sandy. I didn't hear that. Oh,
Okay, all right. Hayden Capati? Mr. Penske?
Present.
Mr. Pernowski? Mr. Edie? Mrs. Colbank? Here. Mr. Swula,
Here.
Mayor Chuck King, Mrs. Robson,
Here.
Mr. Jagger,
Here.
Mr. Paltovich,
Here.
and Mr. Sandberg. We have a forum.
Any corrections or additions to the minutes? We do have a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
Motion.
Mary? Second? Second. Question on the motion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Public comment period number 1. With the 3 minutes limit. Lincoln Jameson, I don't see him here. Joyce Stewart.
Good evening. Tonight I would like to, speak about the employee handbook. The employee handbook first, reached our agenda on June 26, 2024. And it said an employee handbook will be drafted and ready for the regular meeting on August 12, 2024. The employee handbook, from what I gather, was last revised in 1990, which was 35 years ago. In the meeting, and this date might be wrong, I believe it was June of 2025 meeting, that it was said that the employee handbook, so that was under this. So the solicitor Falakovich, did I say that?
Gary's fine.
Solicitor Gary, still had to do markup on the handbook. This can be approved by resolution at next month's meeting. Mr. President Stanzak stated that this handbook only applies to one employee at the borough building. Mr. Andy Pinsky asked if that name could be changed from the employee handbook to the code of conduct, as it's important terminology. And then that was, this will be tabled into next meeting. So fast forward to October 2025. That meeting it was voted on. I believe there was 6. I can't remember if Matt was here. Do y'all know if Matt was here? I believe it was 6. Unanimously voted yes to pass the handbook. Ms. Colby was absent and Mr. Stanzak was absent, so their vote was not in play. So what I understood that came out of this, based on what President Stanzak said, that only one person was in. This whole handbook was for one person. And I could be wrong in this, so I'm gonna, if y'all can correct me at the end, because I have my 3 minutes. So that one person, from what I understood, lost some holidays. They were taken away. And she was, or he was the only person that lost holidays. The rest of the employees kept them. Now, my question to you is that when I apply for jobs, I get an offer letter, and in there it has my benefits, my medical, my insurance, my vacation, my time, my holidays. When the employee started, was she given her holidays, and did it include all that were allowed to the other employees? Because if it is, it seems to be, Lynn, that you would keep those because that was in the employee's letter or face to face. I don't know how y'all do it. And it's kind of another point, even if it isn't in there, why would you strip one employee of not having the same holidays as everyone else? It doesn't make sense. Now, I asked this, and I kind of like it was a financial thing.
Okay, Joy, wrap it up. Go ahead.
So we have lost money with the SCCIA lease. Now I would like to say something to address these two because I did want to say something good about this with y'all too, but I don't know if I get there. But we were gonna have a lease for $6,000 a year. We've lost the tenant, back in May, and that's about $3,000. And then we don't get any other revenue until so we're talking about minimal money. So my ask is to please reconsider this and give this employee the holidays back. Now, I do want to mention I was at the government meeting, and Mary and Nikki were very good with the dialogue and talking about it, and also goodwill and stuff like that. And I think that you both had, or either Mary, you might address it because you talked about addressing it. So I do want to say they were, in my opinion, working well with the conversation. So I just really want y'all to reconsider stripping that one individual of their holidays.
The two holidays that we were concerned about putting back in was the day after Thanksgiving and then Martin Luther King Day.
That Martin Luther King Day, in all honesty,
We didn't,
it wasn't on the list in the original.
Aren't they all for election days, 2 election days now?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Everybody else has off. They're all union member employees too. The police has their union, the department has their union, this isn't.
so this was just
Right.
one person.
Right.
But anyway, the Martin Luther, we said, well, if it's okay with council, we'll give them back their 2 holidays. But
Well,
we
we're
never
going to
did
give them
give them
one holiday that was never mentioned.
Martin Luther King, we never,
It was not mentioned
yeah,
anywhere
we
that we
did
could
not
find.
deliberately take that out. I never would have taken that out holiday.
Right.
So,
And then on the other hand, like I said, we're giving 2 additional holidays. If you want to consider it, the 2 election days, the office is closed because they hold the elections here.
Yeah.
So they're picking up an additional 2 holidays. So we really didn't take anything away, even though the one was accidental. I don't feel we really took anything away because they've already reclaimed 2 of us. So we did take that in consideration. There was something else you said that made me think. I know it was with you, Gary. Oh, it is not one employee. I believe we added the janitor and.
Well, let me clarify that, okay?
Okay.
The handbook actually applies to everybody, okay? It's not just, 1 or 2 employees. It applies across the board. However, to the extent that any employee is covered by a collective bargaining agreement, like the police or the street crew, then there are certain terms and conditions of their employment that are picked up through the collective bargaining agreement. So the collective bargaining agreement will control their days off, their time off, their holidays, those types of things, notwithstanding the terms of the employee handbook. The employee handbook has provisions in it that essentially governs how employees treat one another and how they act, and with respect to one. There are sexual harassment provisions in there. There are, general job performance, requirements in there. So it's more encompassing, or it's broader than just one employee. So it applies to everybody across the board, or certain provisions of it do. But to the extent that there is a collective bargaining agreement that sets out other terms and conditions of employment that are contrary to what contained in the handbook, then whatever's in the collective bargaining agreement applies. So, it applies to the chief of police, it applies to the head of the street department, but, to the extent they're also covered by a collective bargaining agreement or any other employment agreement. There's been some conversations about borough manager's agreement that's come up, as well. So if the borough's manager's agreement is entered, with the borough of Stacy, the terms and conditions of her employment would be subject to the borough manager's agreement, and that would pull it outside of the, days off, the holidays, those types of things that are set forth in the employee handbook. Does that make sense?
I think so.
Does that answer your question?
Well,
are really out is just to
Well, I know, I get it, okay.
think.
Okay. Jim Williams,
I can wait if you wanna.
bring him in loud.
Evening, my name is Jim Williams. Congratulations to all the new board members. Tonight I want to talk about the light again. Thank you, Borough Manager and Council for bringing in the county to have their discussion with us. So, in light of what was discussed tonight and previous discussions, we can't do this alone. This council, I mean, we don't, the community itself, there's resources, but there's people that don't want to get involved because of all the issues they've seen with this council. And I'm just being honest with you. Yeah, they don't want to step forward because of watching you guys operate is a negative to them. And they don't want to get involved with this. What I would like to propose tonight is Mr. Clausen was newly elected. I'd like for him to head up the task force or the committee or whatever representing this council. And we could put some citizens from the borough together to work with the county and start this rolling. Because we can't do it alone. And these our ordinances, it's embarrassing for them to look. They were talking 1990. We have stuff dated in the 80s that hasn't been updated. So to even get this up and rolling into some kind of successful level for mitigation, not reaction. Reaction of several years of something falling apart is basically where our mitigation policy is now. We need to nip it in the butt before it starts. And that's what these guys were focused on. That's what they talked about. That's what we should be looking at. You know, I threw Steve under the bus numerous times here. But on the same hand, you know, he doesn't, when he stepped into that role, he doesn't have anything spelled out that he's supposed to follow policy and procedure wise. There's nothing really there. There's an open-ended code. You know, we don't define this. We spend a year on an employee handbook and we don't define the positions of code enforcement or engineering or anything else. Is there anything written? Roles, responsibilities, what's expected when you post a position like that? We're supposed to be looking at hiring somebody. Do we have anything that says what's required for that position?
You mean in terms of like what your qualifications are, those types of things?
Well, any kind of something that you would put out there to say that, you know, we expect you to do X, Y, and Z, this and that. We have the general codes, but there's nothing defined for this borough.
There's nothing that I'm aware of in the statute that says that somebody who is a hire as a code enforcement officer has to have a specific set of qualifications. So who council hires is who council hires.
Well, not even, no, this is my time, so excuse me, not even qualification wise, but role and responsibility, because that's what fell down with him. He was asked to do things in his position that he should have never been put forth to do. And he was expected, you know, under our ordinances, as bad as they are, it says about written reports, there aren't any. I'm not seeing any. I submitted right the nose. Am I done?
No, go ahead. Since you were interrupted, we're trying to.
But I've submitted right the nose. We don't have any reports from that. I have copies of billing from you for emails with Mr. Eby about requesting a walkthrough and inspection, and there's nothing. There's nothing written down. It's got to change. We can't do this like we're doing now because it is very unsuccessful. It's spelled this community. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Andy.
Mr.
Okay. I'm ready to go after you.
Oh, that's fine.
That's fine.
All right.
Good, everybody hear me? Couple points of clarification for one. Is last month, Steve, we discussed when you started for code enforcement. The minutes for the June 14th, I believe, 2022 meeting, where you were appointed. I was at that meeting. I remember that. We got the Durango SUV, remember? So, you were responsible for as code enforcement, but going back what Jim said, you were thrown into a mix of BIU had to have a contract terminated. So you were asked to do things that maybe you were unaware of. I can understand, I can ease back a little bit. But suppose it took a problem like that, like mine, to bring it to the council's attention that there's a bit of a conflict of interest at some level. Am I correct in that assessment? That you have two hats. And now you only have one, which is fine. But my issue fell into that conflict of interest because when you came out, you're an engineer. But it was a code enforcement issue at the time on July 5th, that day. But at the same time, which one do you choose that you hold that day? But again, food for thought going forward, council conduct and all this matters. You didn't do your proper research thinking that this is going to be dragged out for 3 years, that we have to get proper code enforcement. And going back to what Jim said, clarification, defining of roles. One more thing was, why I'm doing all this, it's regarding the issue of the parking lot. Why am I doing everything right now is, I presented everything in front of council because it's on behalf of my mother. Because she has mobility issues, significant ones, but don't leave the house very much. She's also the executive director of the estate, which is the real owner of the house. So that's why I put everything out there like I did. One more question, Gary. Did you get my letter requesting actual motion back in September?
I did.
And what do you think about that?
I can only act on what council told me to act on.
Right on. Okay. Anyway, I just want to clarify.
My understanding was that was being handled. That's the reason I haven't.
Okay.
Before that.
But we're not gonna go back. Yeah, we'll move on the meeting. But still, right now, I understand the zoning issue, so we'll follow up with them at a later date. But I just want to present that to you guys and say, thank you for your time in this matter. I appreciate it. And going forward, will hopefully conduct will be considered because that conflict of interest cost a lot. Stress, etc., things that are intangible. We're not gonna bring it right now, but still going forward, hopefully we don't have this again. But thanks for your time.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks.
Thank you for the opportunity for me to address the council here tonight. First thing I want to say to everybody here that might be a veteran, thank you for your service, all of you. Thank you. 1% does the most for the 99% of us. The other thing is, I want to thank all my residents and friends and everybody that's here, because that's important that you come here to find out what is affecting our community. And it's important for us as council members to listen to these people. Because you people make up our community. You're the taxpayers, you're the people that live in the houses, apartments, or whatever to make up our community. And it's very important that we listen to what they have to tell us. There are some things we can take action on quickly. And just for the people out here, there's some other things that the listeners well aware of that. And I learned this over several years. There are some things takes a little longer to develop because the wheels of local government turn very slowly. And as you all know from watching TV or listening on the radio, our state government turns slow and our federal government is turning even slower. So just bear with us sometimes whenever we have discussions here, okay, because we are trying to do our best. The people that are sitting around this table, we are. But we also need your input and we need to listen to what you have to tell us. And we have to on it. So we have some new people that are going to be sitting around this table. I hope the new people are going to do their job properly, learn what their job is. Sorry for those that are leaving, but that's just the way of what happens. You know, we have elections. Elections have results and things change.
But again, I won't take up much more time. We have a lot of things to go over and we're running late, but thank all of you for coming here tonight. And I appreciate everyone. Thank you.
Approval of overtime report. That's okay.
You have any?
That's enough, like, yeah.
Oh, from police.
There's all the children.
Is it standard that we have to approve overtime?
This was.
That's all last month.
Yeah.
I mean, it's total.
It's what's it called?
It's filled in the budget.
Non-recurring.
Right.
So
Jerry, is
we
it
have
a good one?
to bring it up to the floor. It's non-recurring.
They made a motion at last night's meeting to bring the overtime reports to your overtime, the overtime in the police department is part of their budget. There was a question on whether or not it was doing properly, I guess, properly billed out. Okay. So that's what the overtime report is. So you're not asking to approve the overtime, I was asking to offer to acknowledge that the report is being submitted. Is that right?
Right, I don't think it's a vote.
But we don't need an
It
emotion.
can be in our package this month, right?
Okay. So there's no question on it then?
What's that?
I don't know what the agenda.
It's short, and I think I said this in the last month's meeting as well. I mean, there's obviously an issue with me, operating remotely, and I'm glad I'm here tonight. Okay. In any, because people can't hear me sometimes. And so, what we should be doing as part of your budget is if you see, you have overtime built into your budgets, you have overtime built in the police budget. So if you see as your year progresses that the overtime is progressing at a rate higher than what you anticipated to be paid out at, then at that point in time, it would be appropriate for you, somebody on council, to question, why is the overtime so high? Okay, what is the reason for doing that? And at that point in time, what you would be doing is you'd be going back internally to one of your committees, your protection committee or your local government committee, and sitting down with the chief of police to determine why it is that there's so much overtime, being billed out, why it's progressing faster than what you budgeted or anticipated. And then at that point in time, the mayor, working in conjunction with the chief of police and, whoever on council is designated to handle that type of thing would hopefully be able to sit down, with the chief and determine, what kind of restrictions can be put on so that overtime, comes under control. And that's something that is going to have to be determined on a case by case basis. And that's how these things should be handled. People have already worked overtime hours, you are trying to approve them retroactively. That's problematic, okay, from a practical standpoint. And it's problematic, also from a collective bargaining, standpoint. You only have the stuff built into your agreement. So I think that the purpose, as I understood it, of providing the report was just to give council, a monthly statement or some, indication of what overtime was being billed at and what, where you are in the budget
Kind of like
process.
the incidents, we don't have to vote on them.
That's correct.
So it's the same thing.
That's
Okay, well then
The only thing I had seen there was police pump time account was in the minutes about revisiting where it goes. I didn't see anything about reports. That's why I was confused.
The reason this came up was because there was some police at one of our council meetings, and I think it was an overtime charge for
Okay, and the report is, so everybody's aware of it. The overtime summary report for pay period 10/12 through 10/25, it was 1 hour. And that was, the safety of an officer on an arrest. So I don't think we're going to question 1 hour.
So, and I don't think it would be, from a practical standpoint, it wouldn't be appropriate to question it after the fact in this forum. Okay, it's more of an employee issue, an employment issue. And, that's something that should be dealt with at least preliminarily internally, okay, between, council, if there's an issue with, what overtime is being paid for. And, the chief of police and then working with the mayor, since the mayor is the head of the.
Okay,
So it's both a practical issue in terms of like first string issue, which you got to control. And it's a practical issue in terms of an assignment issue, which the chief of police and the mayor will control.
now, I do have a question that brought up, or to my mind. Would this include the street crew overtime also?
Yep.
Okay, so we're gonna need, Zach to supply Stacy,
If you want, I mean.
just
again, that's
for
up to you. That's up-
examination.
Yeah, again, that's up to you guys. That's fine, Lisa. I mean, this is something you can also just track, in your budget, you know what I mean, showing, how much of the expenditure is being paid down on a monthly basis.
Okay. Approval of recurring bills and non-recurring bills.
Should make a motion.
Second. Question on the motion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. All right, old business auditors report.
We will be wrapping that up here shortly.
I hope so. I'm tired of hearing that. Okay,
What is shortly, Stacy,
She said she'll have it done for December.
for December?
She was getting some files off her at the office.
Like the first week of December?
She didn't give me a date. I can put a phone call in on Wednesday.
I would assume next meeting.
Well, it's on the
I
second.
mean, maybe I shouldn't
I
do
would
that,
assume
but-
that's.
That's what I say, maybe I shouldn't do that, but I'm thinking that's what she meant.
I have a question. She would have thanked the letter.
Yes.
This, okay.
Okay, employee handbook. Gary gave us the,
You guys talked to it last month, right?
okay,
Mr. President, I'd like to have a motion of reconsideration on the adoption. I was in the majority with a recommendation to add the Martin Luther King holiday and the election day for the office staff, part-time, and Amy Baker.
So you're making a motion to amend the time off provisions in the employee handbook.
I'm making, along with the reconsideration, okay, because I had voted in favor, I was in majority for favor, so I want to reconsider my vote.
It's okay to change your mind. It's okay.
Yeah, no, I know, I'm allowed to do
now,
that.
now let me ask you this, is that adding back in the day after Thanksgiving?
Because you don't have anything in your employee handbook that gives you off for election day.
No, we don't, that's why I
We
added
don't
that.
have that, we don't have Martin Luther King,
Right.
and we took out the day after Thanksgiving.
But election day is only for your office staff, right? Your police
Right.
department's still working, your road crew still working.
Yes.
Right.
So that's just, that's good.
Yeah, and let me explain why, okay, as on the board here for the election, logistically speaking, we have two restroom facilities here. Okay, that's for the board to use and sometimes for the voters if they have to utilize it. It would just be inconvenient to have her in the office trying to do work, okay, or even have the part-time worker. I mean, it's just a common sense thing, okay, there's 2 days. One would be in, next year, we're in April, I think next year we're an even number year, and then November. And then the Martin Luther King Day, which was an oversight, okay, and then the day after Thanksgiving is the other holiday that is given to.
That's that was one that was in question.
Okay. Well, I'll put that one in there too in my recommendation.
If we're adding them, then the two post holidays should be taken off.
I would like to see what was given to the office staff when they were hired. I'd like to see what in writing they got. Because at the last meeting, I was told, well, they don't have the holiday anyways. Well, that was not true. I didn't know any better. I would like to see in writing what they were given. So I would have resend mine and vote as well.
All right, so we're gonna table the handbook again for next.
No,
Excuse
point of
me.
order.
Point of order.
Yeah.
There's a motion to be made and a second has to be made before the discussion about it. And there's been no second.
I was just getting into that part.
All right, do I have a second on the motion then?
Explain the motion.
Yeah, exactly, that's correct. My motion was a motion of reconsideration. It is permissible when you vote in the majority at the next meeting, you can have a revote, change your mind, as you said, Gary.
Do I have a second?
I will send it
Okay.
back. And I also would resend my vote as well.
Okay, so discussion on the motion. So I guess is there a proposal then, or would there be a proposal on just you add these in, or you want, because what you said, and what Mary said are two slightly different things. Mary wanted to see what was originally proposed by the employees when they were hired.
Well, mine is to add those days.
Okay,
That's what.
Add,
Martin Luther King Day,
okay,
the election day, and then we said the day after Thanksgiving.
so that would be 4 days.
that's 4 days, not 2.
4 days. Because my math isn't that good tonight.
Okay.
So Mary seconded, so we're voting on Andy's motion, correct?
That would be correct.
And that's,
And then so the discussion is Mary Y said, and then what Mary R said.
right. And I wasn't here last month, I can still vote tonight, but Matt wasn't here tonight, but was here last month, it doesn't matter, right?
Doesn't matter. So I guess she's really, Mary, what were your communications? I mean, you both were throwing things out there. So.
Okay. I'm not sure if I'll say it appropriately. I'd like to make a motion to see.
Well,
There's already a motion on the
It's a comment on
Okay.
Andy's list. Andy wants to add them in. Okay. Now we'll second it. Bring it to.
Yeah, Andy made the motion to add the 4 days, Mary Yeager seconded.
All the vote.
I'm calling for a roll call vote.
Alright. Okay. Mrs. Yeager,
I'm voting to add 4 holidays, is that right?
Yes.
The vote in favor of the motion would be to add the 4 holidays automatic, add the 4 holidays into the existing employee handbook.
Okay, I vote yes.
Mrs. Colby,
No.
Mr. Penske,
You call it, sorry, yes.
Mrs. Robson,
Yes.
Mr. Sola.
Um,
2 noes, 3 yeses, motion carries.
Okay, so that's a simple change to the handbook.
Yes.
So I make a motion to take the 2 personal days off.
We're just gonna rewrite the handbook here.
That's what the problem is in the first place.
Well, I mean, 2 years, Jesus.
So.
Thank you.
Okay, so we had 2 yes and 3 yes and 2 no's.
Right. And then there's a motion on the.
Now
floor.
there's a motion to take 2 personal days off.
We'll second it just so we can vote.
Okay,
You need discussion on the motion.
Right.
discussion on the motion.
Well, but I mean, to move it so we can vote.
Right.
Right.
I'd like to, did you start the motion?
Right.
I'd like to speak. Can I speak?
Yeah.
I don't know what y'all doing. You have an employee that works hard, that is kind to us, kind to you most likely. And it is, did you not hear me say that SCCIA is costing $6,000 a year? You're gonna tie in a 3-year lease for $18,000. It would take 10 or 15, 20 years before you even, it's not a money issue. What are you doing? It is so hard to find good people. I can tell you right now, if I worked for y'all and y'all did that, I'd say adios. And you never knew what you're getting because the grass is not greener on this stuff. Y'all did this. Do y'all not have a conscience?
We didn't vote yet, but we have the first and seconded, so we can vote. Nothing's been passed through yet, so
Thank you.
calm down. Yeah.
I'm just
We
actually
haven't voted yet.
think about it.
No, but you're
I'm
Yeah, I appreciated the comment right now in between for the discussion. Anybody is permitted to make that comment.
Yes, so I would just ask, what you mean by the personal days? Do you mean, those sort of floating days that if a day would be needed at the last minute that this person could use that day?
Whatever.
I'm just asking for
It would just
clarification.
be like if I wanna take tomorrow and use it personal for what I wanna use it.
Yeah,
That's
and it,
personal.
whether or not it's a doctor appointment or a
Right,
concert,
whatever
who
you wanna
cares?
use, right.
A personal day, yeah. And a lot of organizations are taking away sick days because people will call in sick, but use a personal day, and they're just blanketing those days as a personal day, and we all get them. So I guess I don't understand why anybody should have those days taken away.
Yes.
Well, when we did this, we took away a couple of their holidays, and then we gave them the 2 personal days. That was you replace it. So that's why we just asked you to.
So are they technically at the same amount of days they were at before?
Yeah.
Are they or are they different days? Like, they're
They're
classified different.
not being penalized.
Right.
We hired Amy during the interview. She was promised the same benefits as what the previous secretary treasurer had.
Which
Which
have
included
anything-
personal days.
That's why
There's
she's asking for it.
documentation right there. We were able to find
I
it.
see it.
Right.
So
I really
that's
like.
what was brought up. So
Am I allowed to make a comment as, okay, so start giving the community and stop taking away from them. There's not jobs out here in Scottdale.
We're taking away from.
We're taking away days from an employee that could go to many different places. She's educated.
Wait.
Why would we take
They
away
were given 2 days.
different days?
All right, so you're just balancing the scale,
No,
believe it.
we're forcing them to take.
Ask a question for clarification for those of us who haven't been here.
What is your name, please?
My name is Michelle Williams. How long did we work on this handbook?
17 months.
Okay, so in 17 months, we never pulled out the old handbook and looked at what somebody had before we started stripping things away.
That's not true.
It is true. She just sat here and said, can I see what she had?
Did we not?
He wasn't on the committee.
But shouldn't you have shared this with the people that were on the committee?
It was.
This is what we
It
have,
was
and this is
emailed
what we're
to
taking
council.
away.
It was emailed to council for 105 times. I remember talking about
Okay,
Gary.
so we're giving somebody 2 days for,
That is true.
we're gonna give somebody 2 days for election day, okay? Automatic, it's election day, they get those days off. You can't do any work here anyway. There's people in and out of here all day long.
No, we can do work here, but it's not, according to.
Want to
The
work here
judge
that day.
election does not want it.
Well, I don't think the election committee, the election bureau doesn't want that. It's not just Mr. Pinsky.
I talked to.
Okay, I'm not asking you to argue with me. What I'm asking is, people in this room don't seem to understand what was here before. What somebody had, what we're taking away. We're talking about 2 personal days. Do they get sick days?
Yes, we gave them 2 additional sick days in this new handbook.
Okay. You
So-
gave a Martin Luther King Day where there's no mail.
That was
There's no
different.
banking.
That was a totally
They-
different story.
They
That
can't
was
really
totally-
do anything that day anyway. I don't know, like, let's give and let's take. I don't know.
So she
sat
would
here
have to use
for
her days
An hour and
for
not
that
conducted any
of her stepfather at this time. She would have to use her personal days. She's not here for a reason. You're gonna take those days away from this girl. We just lost her stepfather, like she would burn her 2 days for grieving. Like personal days are personal days.
That's
There are reasons why any of this needed to be changed.
There-
She
there's a
promised
reason.
something when she was hired, Nikki.
Where's bereavement leave?
She was offered this at being hired. What is the issue with giving her what she accepted?
No,
I'm just saying,
she's
yeah.
working. She's been working a year and we gave her 2 holidays. For 2 months.
All the same. So when she was hired, she had a list of days she got off. You're saying in addition to that, you've just recently given her 2 additional personal days.
Correct.
So she's never lost any days in the entire year that she was here. Nothing was ever taken from her.
No.
Okay. That explains it a little easier.
All right, motion on the floor to remove the 2
So what would that, so what would the personal days be at, remove it here, so you get no personal days?
To remove
Exactly.
the two personal days that we added.
I'm not saying anything. How you gonna vote?
Alright,
I'm out.
All right, roll call.
The motion was to limit to 2 personal days, and that's the motion.
alright. Mrs. Colbank,
No.
Mr. Swola,
No.
Mrs. Jaeger,
No.
Mrs. Robson,
Yes.
Mr. Penske,
No.
4 no's, 1 yes, motion carried.
So can I change the handbook?
I'm not changing the line. I didn't understand. Trying this up. Okay. Under the general government, we're up for, request for proposals for the CD.
Do we have those?
I was looking for permission to send out.
I make a motion, we send out, or, yeah.
That's first. Second on the
That
motion.
same, hold on a second, can you use that same one that we have, so we have apples to apples and not apples to
That's what I've
oranges?
been doing.
All right, second on the motion.
Second.
And this, will be for one particular CD?
Yeah,
It's expiring December.
Yeah, it's in our packet here. Yeah, on it.
I just wanted to verify, yeah.
Does it expire at the end of
December 17th. It's in
Is
our
it
packet, December 17th.
I wanna have the,
Our meeting's on
the proposals back right before the December meeting.
December 8th is our meeting, so we should have plenty of time.
Okay. Question on the motion? Those in favor? I guess we need a roll call. No. Okay, I thought it was financial, it did. Okay, those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, Ford IT service.
Alright. With this year that we've had dealing with Ford, Amy and the staff and I are really frustrated with the tax service that we've been getting since with. Our auditor was able to come in and do what we had been trying to get the board to do. She was able to take care of it within 30 minutes, and Ford was never, they were only partially successful in coming together and getting what we needed. So we were looking at possibly voiding our contract and canceling the IT contract with Ford. I did look into it with them, and they will drop us without, like, they'll let us out of the contract without having to pay an exit fee. We'll just we'll only owe what we have remaining for the bill.
So what does that do for us for coffee machine?
That's a separate thing. That's a separate contract, and it's $135 a month.
So we're gonna keep the coffee machine at $135 a month, but drop the IT service, because they're not helping us anyway.
Yes.
How much was the IT service?
It was 200, a little over 200 a month.
I make a motion.
Motion by Charity,
Second.
second by Mayor Ross.
To your motion,
Maybe.
Ms. Colbeck,
Maybe.
maybe, okay.
Tell me what it is first, then I'll let you know.
I want to add that we need to find another IT service and drop this one. at
So we
time.
have an auditor that did it, that
Was the auditor gonna always do our IT?
No, she'll bill us.
Yeah, exactly. So we have,
okay, in my motion, it's gonna be that Andy's gonna find the IT service.
yeah, I'm going to find.
So,
You second that, Mary?
yeah.
Okay, hold on.
I'm gonna pay the gentleman who does the IT service for the police department, he said if we.
Maybe she has some estimates, maybe like 30 of them, so we kind of know what we're.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, I'm just saying we need to get
Somebody else.
proposals,
Right.
yes.
Andy's gonna get on that proposal.
Cancel IT service with Ford, and
Andy will get the new proposal.
You want me to get you a
Oh,
proposal?
okay.
Yeah.
Just kidding, whatever.
and get proposals.
No.
No.
What I do is ask, is there anybody in this audience? IT services?
There you go.
Say all in favor? All in favor, accept motion to cancel Ford service. Opposed? Motion carried.
I make a motion that we table this resignation letter because we have 45 days to accept the resignation letter, and this is the reason being. If we have 45 days to accept it, we can get somebody out in the community or have a committee that's gonna go out and retrieve people from the third ward that are interested in being up here that wanna do what's best for Scottdale. Then we have a new turnover in January with the new members coming in that can vote to put a new one on. That's my motion.
I support that.
What would we vote after that?
Or we
You don't
vote.
vote here, it's council members will delegate a third ward, so we're gonna need letters of interest for us to come forward, and then we would have to vote somebody on as a third ward representative.
Okay.
I think it's more fair, just,
Just from a timing perspective.
right,
Okay. The way it works under the borough code is that the resignation was tendered when it was delivered on October 30th.
Yeah, 40.
It was effective.
Yesterday,
for
yesterday.
tonight, or yesterday.
Yesterday.
So,
45 days from yesterday.
no, you have 45 days from the date of tender, which would be October 31st, to take action on it. So the resignation becomes effective either when
45 business days or 45 days?
45 days.
Okay, let me count this.
So you would have to vote to accept the resignation then at your December meeting. Correct. Once you vote to accept the resignation at your December meeting, then you would have 30 days from the date that.
Well, we're within the 45 anyway, so what I said is specifically right.
That's correct.
45 days is December 15th, our meeting is December 8th.
That's correct. I just want to make sure that when you're tabling this, you know that.
Right.
One,
So on the 8th, we accept the resignation.
you have to do it. at that
Start the
point.
30-day thing, we can accept it in January, which would be January 5th.
No, you would have to accept the resignation at your December meeting, and then you would have 30 days from that meeting to appoint.
Right, that's
So,
what, that's what.
right. So I don't know when you're ready to handle the meeting is.
Don't be
So our
doing it
January
before
meeting
January.
is the 5th of January, because it's usually the first Monday in
Well,
January.
That's a reorg. That's all we can do is reorg.
Well, you actually can do more than that.
We can,
And it's
add
28
to the
days, so we're
agenda.
still within 30.
okay, all right, that's something I.
No, seriously, I mean, you can do that. You
Oh,
just have to
that's
advertise that you're doing it. Okay.
You earned your money tonight, Gary.
So that's my motion.
Well, yeah.
Someone second it?
Nice to young.
Could you include in the motion that you will solicit these letters of?
You would,
Yeah.
well, okay, so so just to talk this through, okay?
Needs advertised.
So you're making a motion now to table it, okay? You know that you're going to have to advertise at some point in time, or definitely want to do. The official motion to do that would be at your December meeting.
Oh, really?
Okay, so if you want to start.
You can't really advertise until we accept the resignation.
Until the opening is created.
Correct.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, so my motion is to table it for tonight, we'll on the December
And
meeting,
put it up for vote.
accept the resignation, and, okay. Mary, you,
I'll second that.
Just clarify.
Question,
So,
is there any problem with us putting out there to be a seeking insurance to get your letter
we
read?
can't do anything until we accept the resignation in December, and at that point in time, we'll tell you, go for it, and we'll have something shared, and you can share away.
Thank you, thank you.
Are we advertising? You wanna advertise now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you can't advertise this.
Right, so that's December. Yeah, I mean, you can tell it by word, hey, it's coming in December, but you can't officially post it anywhere till next meeting. Go with that?
Question, so what was the point of the position that I took in April then for the vacancy for that position if anybody resigns? And I'm not challenging, I'm just asking a question.
If we don't approve them within our timeline of amount, then you would become that person, or
Right.
within the timeline.
Correct. I just want to make sure I understood about that. Thank you.
saying, excuse me, you filed a petition with
So we,
the
in
Commonwealth.
December, we'll accept the resignation.
I never read-
January, there's no vote,
Oh.
we'll bring somebody in.
Well, but they'll be appointed, then when would that
That
board
could be that
actually, no, like, when does the public actually vote on a person then?
They won't until the next, until his seat's up.
It's just,
Right.
They're just finishing that.
Yeah.
Until his seat's up,
It wouldn't be the next,
Vote again.
Right.
It'd be a short term?
yeah, that was my.
So
I wanna say he's up in 2 years, so it would be a 2-year appointment until the next,
the vote would be in 2027.
right.
And
Election 27.
to answer your question, I didn't run because I was working on projects and getting through my schooling.
Well,
That's
done.
no, I want to answer your question officially. I did go through, but I did not push through. And I won Stephanie to get in, to be honest with you, unopposed. So that's the reason I did what I did when I went for the position in April.
it's fine, but I misspoke. You didn't go to the Commonwealth Court. You
I
filed
knew
a
what you
petition with the election hearing.
Okay, I knew what you meant.
Because if we don't take action on this, it will go to Greensburg, to the Commonwealth Court, and then the judges will decide who sits in that seat. A judge.
That's, okay, so let's say you guys did nothing. You did a resignation. It would come effective on, say, don't use the rough number of December. Okay, so that's 45 days from the date of, it was pending, okay? At that point in time, you would still have 30 days from that date to appoint.
Right.
If you did nothing. So if you don't appoint within 30 days of December 15th, whatever that date is, then you would go to the Court of Common Pleas.
Right.
But
Or I'm sorry, then we'll go to vacancy board is 15 days, then we'll go to the Court of
my
Common Pleas.
motion was to hold this so that we can get time for people to be able to come in and not have, the time and do it quickly, they need to do it right. Not that I don't wanna delay them leaving, it's just.
Whoever submits something, okay, we want people to submit it, but submit it to the proper channels, bring it here.
Right.
Bro, don't submit it on social media, submit it here so that it gets through the proper
I
channel.
think once we do that next month, we can make a formal announcement of how that goes in. You can send it tomorrow if you want to, but we'll do it formally, that way it'll give them 30 days.
I think what you would want to do is withhold on anybody submitting anything to you until after you make your vote on December the 9th. Because that way you'll be able to do an official channel, you know what I mean?
And
In order to do that, yeah, because you don't want to have people submitting things now and saying, well, I submitted it back in November and it didn't go to whoever you wanted to go to, and then it will carry through. So I think you want to do this all in timely fashion.
Okay. Don't submit it yet, wait till after the next one.
Okay. Motion on the floor to table the resignation, till 25. Motion by Charity,
Specific date,
Yeah.
Mr. President, would be 8th of December.
12/8.
Whose resignation is it?
Dawn Stanton.
Thank you. Never mentioned.
That letter, if they wanted a copy of it, it's probably subject to disclosure at this point in time. Well, I tell you what, no, I take that back because he withdraw it earlier, so.
Right.
So that, you're right. Sorry.
Okay, question on the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, garbage contract update.
Okay, so last month we opened contracts and did not award anybody. We posted to have it front pickup versus rear pickup. We had it posted one time a week. We posted it with $9,000 franchise fee. We only got one bidder. It was a Noble, okay, same thing as last time.
We have now.
Republic was here and told us why they wanted to bid or didn't want to bid and what we needed to do to possibly get them to bid. So because we have a little bit of time left, we decided to repost it. That post went out November 8th in the paper. It's gonna be advertised until, I believe, December 12th. Well, not advertised, we open them in December 12th, or that'll be the deadline to turn them in December 12th. We will vote on it in the beginning of January meeting to accept whatever we might get. One of the things that Republic wanted us to do was they wanted us to put something on about the arm going out to pick up the trash on the front road. And they also stated that they wanted us to use to provide the cans that they provided versus Noble, who doesn't provide cans. One of the other things we looked at was the franchise fee. Our franchise fee is $108,000 a year that we use, that the garbage hauler pays us, that goes towards the budget. One of the two options were to cut the franchise fee and then make up the difference in the budget, or our committee decided to do the first year franchise fee the same amount that it's been. The second year, they would lower it $500, so it would be $8,500. The third year would be $8,000. The fourth year and so forth with $500 less. That way we're lowering the franchise fee, but we're not dumping it on the residents to have to do a big tax increase. So look forward to December 12th is the deadline for that. We will open them in January 5th, which is our reorg meeting. And then hopefully put somebody up for a new contract. Our contract ends May 31st. Another thing that Republic wanted was they wanted 6 weeks. We gave them 4 weeks. Last time we gave them 2 months. It is what it is. Hopefully they bid next time. If not, we will have to award somebody.
The contract itself doesn't expire until what, June?
May 31st, 2026, yeah. So we're ahead of the game, but last time we weren't, they said, even though we put it out for bid twice, and they still didn't bid this time, neither here or there.
Yeah,
We're, in line for that, so that's,
that was a Republic issue.
we'll be on that list. So that's the only thing that our committee has right now, that's on the floor.
Okay. Taxing committee. I don't, there's nobody here from Candy.
Yeah, sure.
I can speak from the ARs, they're gonna be needing replaced within a year or two. I would say within the next year, so there was discussion about getting that on the council's radar to look into funding.
Building again,
There's
For
the
next year?
fireworks.
was it 2,000 or 3,000? I'm a large gun person, but what's an AR cost?
Steve, do you know?
It all depends on
For gun?
per gun, that's supposed to be.
Is that a standard gun that like a borough like us would use?
Yeah.
Or is that like a special?
They have them in their vehicles now.
I'm not a gun person first. I don't know anything about them.
I think we were
Divide those from, that seems awful steep for now. I got 2 of them. I'm far from that, right, shield shot.
I said that's just an estimate. I didn't go out.
That's pretty high estimate.
Do it.
Alright,
They
so I'm
have to get
seeing,
funds.
Funds.
well, that's training. What do we have built in there for next, for, potential, I'm just,
So we're tabling the ARs.
Yes.
so 5,000. 5,000 we have built in, so that'll get us one. Well,
Even if we
maybe
get
2.
one.
Larry's half cost, maybe.
Yeah. We don't have to do all, I think there's 3.
I just wanna make sure we're setting
all
up for
3 at once, we could do 1 year, maybe, and cycle them.
That was a little bit of
Okay, I'm not a gun expert, so I don't know.
That's about done. Yeah. That one guy.
Whenever you buy, make sure you buy them all 3. That way, during each vehicle, the officer knows this is the gun I'm gonna handle. It might be a different gun than another thing. Right. Her life depends on it. Right. So they all have to be the same in each vehicle.
So you're recommending buying all of them at once?
Yeah. All at once.
We budgeted for 5,000. 5,000 isn't gonna buy us all of them at once.
No.
We may have to maybe tweak some money.
Like I said, we're gonna table that.
Right.
For council that's looking for it, your line item is 14110-241. It's on page 5. Page 5. And it's a new line item that wasn't here before, that is now. Found it. Fact.
So instead of 5,000, it would be, if we'd be doing all
We
of
need 3, you said, you have 3 cars. So
It's on 3 columns. So I'll let you make sure.
10,000?
I don't know how much it costs.
He said 4 apiece, but someone else said that's on the high end, so that's
Well,
12.
hey, I'm just going off the top of my head. I didn't, right. I'm just saying, just like a car, we need another car.
But we will get that.
You're right, and it all depends how much right to the car is.
Right, well, and it might go between now and then too.
Right, absolutely.
I don't know, when they 15? Just what cover on space day?
You ready for B, Mr. President?
Right.
DRs? Ready? Ready.
For me.
See, civil service advertisement, it was brought to our attention that the cadets are now going to be graduating in November from the police academy. And it's always good, even though our civil service commission is completely changed, it's always good to have candidates on a waiting list so that we would have potential candidates. This is a normal procedure to do. So we're going to advertise for candidates. That doesn't mean we're hiring any police officers yet. We're advertising, so we have a list of potential candidates. Because we also have a couple officers that might be heading into the drop or so, that might be getting ready to retire too. So we have a list.
So the motion is to have the Civil
Yeah.
Service Commission, go through the,
Advertising
process.
process.
process,
We
right?
don't,
That's good.
we don't announce, Mr. Prince, we don't announce board, do we? We can just do the process and then,
For the testing process.
right,
Yeah, well,
to say four that we're looking for.
no, we,
Process out.
it's just the process, yeah. We want to try to get some of these cadets,
Right,
you know, interested.
You want to advertise it for the test, right?
right.
Right.
Go to list. So is that your motion?
That's my motion, that is
I'll second
correct.
that.
Thank you for
Okay,
modifying.
question
my
on the
motion.
motion.
I need a second before we.
I second it already.
Oh, I didn't hear
Second.
you. I'm sorry, I did not hear you. Come on.
Trying to get us rolling here, Andy.
I know. All right,
Question on the motion? All in favor?
all right.
Opposed? Okay, code enforcement.
Code enforcement, we are without a code enforcement officer at the current time. I know we've had some candidates, I think they're the gentleman that Charity brought to our attention, that because code enforcement in Lower Tyrone Township. He used to do Carnesville Township, I think he's a police officer over Carnesville School District. And then there's also a gentleman in town that submitted a resume. And then we got residents that just said they wanted to do it. Okay, this is what I would say that we should do. The proper thing to do is let's remainder of this year, we got this month in December. So we could bring one of these people on board temporarily, and then in January, when we have a reorg and we have new council members, we make our decision then to get one of them or somebody for code enforcement to bring one of these three candidates that we have in front of us on for right now temporarily.
So didn't the one say that they would only take it if it was part-time? Meaning we'd have to put all the benefits in and their retirement and
Yeah,
whatever
this
else?
one here, so.
Which
One in our packet says they would only do it part-time.
No one, Mr.
We don't offer benefits
Yeah.
for part-time.
Interested as
Mr.
a,
Howard.
interested as a part-time employee, it's not a part-time, it's an as needed
It's
thing.
our part-time employee.
Okay.
The other one has,
The one that, Mr. Joe Adams.
that's the one that does code enforcement already, that was the card I sent a picture of
Yeah.
all of council. I saw him somewhere and he gave me the card, so I figured I would share it with you guys.
Well, let's take action with somebody on temporarily for November, December, and then in January, council can readdress this to bring that person on to the 2026 year.
So the motion will be to appoint somebody as temporary code enforcement.
That's correct. Of the candidates that we have. So we have a candidate, I think his last name's Adams, Mr. Adams, Mr. Howard. Correct, and then those are the three candidates that we have. So
Okay, now.
so let's pass my motion and then we can decide.
So I think that that motion also needs to have that we have outstanding magistrate court dates, that person would need to attend those court dates.
Oh, I didn't know we had some
I was
outstanding
just
ones.
hearing
I'm
this.
sorry, I wasn't.
But I might as well get ahead of
Ah, that's fine. Thank you for amending that. That's great. Okay, so that would be amended to the motion. That person would have to attend the outstanding court dates that are currently in front of the magistrate.
Okay, we'll also need a letter from Mr. Moore that person is able to handle those, so that we're not sending someone off the street that's representing Scott.
And Mr. Moore said something about council or himself swearing officer in.
Okay,
So
all
we
right.
have to do that route too.
Well, that's a lot in that motion.
Oh, and if you make it, so you can, it would probably be easier if you just made a motion to appoint one of these individuals as temporary code enforcement officer, swearing in goes.
Yeah, okay.
Those are all administrative.
Well, it appears without, this would be my motion, without doing a complete background check on him, it appears that Mr. Adams, he's already doing it for a local municipality, so he already has qualifications, I think, that would fit the magistrate's requirements. So my motion would be Mr. Joseph Adams. I don't know where he resides. I
I
think
think he's
it's
like
Quan-
Skin Ways, Connellsville way.
Quantinsville, okay. We would appoint him temporarily, okay, as our code enforcement officer until the 2026 council meeting,
I'll second it.
The regular council.
regular council meeting, that's correct.
Okay, motion by Andy, second by Mary Robson.
What's the first name? Joe. Thank you.
Is he here?
I don't think he's here. He just gave me that card. I don't know if he is.
Oh, I don't know, maybe.
I guess that's the one. He said if you ever needed it, I was like,
Well,
oh.
if he was here, we'd swear him in. We hope.
I don't even know if he knows he's here.
So, first of all, he has to accept it too.
Is this for discussion?
Well, after, do we have a second? Yes.
So we have a second, Mary Robson.
Did he submit a wage proposal?
He didn't say anything.
That's gonna be my question. Where we are again. We don't know, what's he charging?
It's
What are
only
we
a
getting into?
temporary for 1 month.
Yeah, but what are we getting into? We don't need
$5,000 a call.
Yeah. Say, I don't take less than $5,000 to court all day. You wanna pay that? I mean, here we
So are
are.
we using VIU right now?
They never submitted.
I said vacant for a month, because that's all we can do.
Well, then that's what we need to do. You just keep throwing this out there, and even come January, you're not gonna have anything in place to hire somebody properly. You're
I
gonna
think
have,
we
you
oughta-
have a year for an employee handbook. You're not gonna have anything even close to what the requirements would be for this. This is why we are where we are at.
I think it would be, we need a code enforcement officer
Yeah,
right now.
we do.
I think it would be wise if we put a dollar cap on this, on what he would be reimbursed as, so we can move forward for the next 2 months.
Thank you.
Don't even know if he wants this job.
What if he doesn't want what you're off?
Yeah, so then we're back to nobody.
You're in the same place.
All right, I rescind my motion.
Hold on.
So I'm one of the guys that you guys have on there. So I live in Scottdale.
You, Mr. Howard?
Yes.
Okay, then you're here.
I've been in construction over 40 years. Not only in construction, has whopper stuff, environmental cleanup. So I do have background, but I'm willing to do whatever enforcement training that needs to, to come on board. So I just want to throw that out there for you. So I'm willing. I'm even willing to work part-time or more. I am a full-time pastor as well, but I don't get paid. So I am for the community. In fact, me and my wife, we have a ministry porch. So we're the ones that you guys see helping the community. We give stuff, and so I'm just throwing that out there. Yeah.
So we need.
Can I ask you, would you submit a proposed salary, wage?
Yeah, I can do whatever whatever you required.
Would you be willing to do that now, or would you be able to do that?
I can do that. I would like to just think and talk for whoever I need to talk to. But like Mr. James was saying about the handbook, though, I mean, because I was always told, have a plan and work the plan, and so that's the whole thing. Like, if there's something written down that you can follow by, if there's a code enforcement codes, I mean, I'm more than willing. I'm very good one-on-one with people because, like you say, if you have somebody, an older lady or somebody who can't do something, to work something out like your ticket thing. So I mean, I have ideas. I mean, in Swissville for 4 years on the borough. So I learned a lot of stuff from them. They actually, for their polite stuff, they would actually get a lead from their seniors who worked for the public works, who would lead other people. Like, so they would do a high school program, help clean up the area. They would pay them a certain amount, where they would get people who needed to do service. And so we would pick that one person, but the ones doing the service is doing the service for free. So I mean, there's ways to work to make this community whatever you guys are envisioned. Because I came from Braddock. And when you talk about blight, it's every 3 to 4 houses. So compare this to you guys. I mean, this is like Wonderland. So, I mean, I see you guys, how you argue and stuff, how horrible this place is, but I didn't move there because of that. Moved there because it was a different land as well.
Well, thank you.
In terms of developing a pay schedule for the interim appointee, could you please look to the billings of Mr. Eby, determine what you paid him? And, you know, if there's a different rate for court appearance, that might be a beginning point.
So Andy, on your motion, would you make it that would be the same pay that he had? I mean, we could see if Mr. Howard would be interested, but.
Well, first of all, I have to rescind my current motion. Okay, take
His
take
remaining.
point of order.
Right.
I need whoever seconded this to rescind. Okay? So I rescind my motion. Right. So now, before I would make the motion, Mr. Howard, would you sir be interested in the position?
Yes.
You are interested in the position. Okay.
On an interim basis or?
That's what I'm gonna ask. Just let me finish, okay? It would only be right now for the rest of November and then into December until council re-adjourns at the first regular council meeting in January.
That would be January 5th.
And then the other is, the wages that we would provide would be equivalent to what we were currently paying to the, previous code enforcement officer. And you would have to also be attending these, hearings right now, the hearings that we're having that are backed up. Are they backed up hearings with?
Oh, they're backed up, they'll be coming up.
They're just coming up, okay? Yeah, those are over at the district magistrate's office. Okay. So you're willing to all that? Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Whoever gets elected, or hired for this position, if they are not certified, that they become certified for the uniform construction code certificate. that-
Certification.
Yeah, that's like,
Different job.
that's,
Different job.
yeah.
So there's no certifications needed to do that job, you just
This ordinance,
follow the ordinance and that's it.
well, this job entails what the borough ordinances are. You don't need to be certified through the state or anything. What you're thinking of is through the building code officer or UCC would be for, yeah, would be for any kind of an occupancy permit or anything along that lines. Anything
Building
that happens. What's that?
Yeah, like building.
Only take me 8 years with my engineering degree. It took 8 years to do it. It's really late.
So this is
I'm
just
gonna
for
be-
like
I hope
grass
I'm
and
retired.
trees and
Same thing I was doing.
And,
crappy cars and
He won't
stuff
be
like
coming, yeah, anything you can see from the public right away is what I was doing.
and what we do, Scottdale, we don't canvas. Ours is complaint driven, right?
No, opposite.
Was it? We canvassing.
I can't.
Oh, okay, you did.
I didn't-
That's not how it's
they-
written up.
They,
That's not how it's written up.
they called me and I didn't wanna have a problem. Because people, first thing they do is who called it in? I said, no, I'm not doing that. I came out here probably every week and a half and drove, or it was earlier in the spring to get the grass. Because it take you, the time I rode it, we would give them 2 weeks to do something about it. They didn't. I'd be back in 2 weeks, check it, and I take it to the magistrate. That usually took about 2 months to get them into the court system.
And that's not true. When I talked to you, you told me that my neighbor called on me. And which neighbor?
Which neighbor? Did you get a neighbor? Did you get a neighbor?
Yes, I know what neighbor.
No,
You told
still,
me.
I would
Don't
not,
lie, don't
I wouldn't,
lie.
I didn't give them.
And you took a picture in May, but didn't send me the fine thing until September.
I know. No, wait a minute, no.
Until I played on the water.
Yeah,
That's
it was complaint driven because at one time,
But nobody ever got a name.
they fill out.
okay.
They come, she would send it to me, that she would say, actually what she did wasn't really a complaint, somebody called her. And then she would say, next time you're out, go look at this and just see what I did. But a lot of times she sent me one, and then I would, give them a letter, whatever, it was my discretionary, whether
it went straight to the magistrate or how it went. But generally, I never took somebody's picture. It was my picture on my phone that went to the hearing.
And here we are again, doing stuff not the way that we have.
It's too light driven.
Here we are, it shouldn't be because
Well,
you
you
should,
can't just
because
change
then you're picking, because then you're picking on people, but it has to do both ways.
This has been
Right.
argued that
It should be both
15
ways.
years ago upstairs, I heard the same thing.
Point of order,
Fine.
Mr. Chairman. Okay, point of order. So we have a gentleman that I asked is willing to accept
Right.
all that. So I would make the motion for Mr. Howard to fill in for the period of time from
Fill in
now
for the
until the end of
rest of the year.
Yeah.
Okay, do I have a second on the motion?
Second.
Second by Mary. Question on the motion.
Will there be a job description for this person that you'll be hiring in January? And requirement?
The general enforcement powers, okay, what the code enforcement officer has the ability to do was written into amendments that we made to the International Property Maintenance Code about 4 years ago.
Right.
Okay, so there were changes that were made to that. And it gives them broad discretion on how to act, what they can act on, and those types of things.
And you'll share that with Mr. Howard, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's written into.
That's all, the council will read him that.
That,
And that's not posted publicly. That's not posted publicly. It's not.
We manage your order. It's here.
Transparency.
We did it about 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago.
But I had no access to it.
It's gonna take on his position.
All the ordinances are online.
Oh, that's not online.
That is not.
The International Property Maintenance
No,
Code is not
no,
on.
the administrative portion of the property maintenance code was written into your basic codes a number of years ago. I don't know why it's not online. I know that we did it. I know I have the ordinance that did it. I know that I know what's in it. Okay. So what that ordinance does is it gives some broad discretion to the code enforcement officer on what they do and how they handle, certain things. Okay. So they know that there's information in there about what blight is, what they're supposed to do, about unsafe conditions. There are certain levels of things that they can do. They can take people to the magistrate. They can, initiate, seek and desist orders. They can initiate, close down orders, orders condemning property so it can't be occupied it can't be used for human occupancy. So there's a variety of remedies that are written into those revisions. Whether or not how they enforce it is to some extent, up to council, whether it's complaint driven or whether it's otherwise.
That's addressing my point now here.
I will just suggest, okay, that in that position, there is a lot of discretion and a lot of power, and I'll use the old Spider-Man quote, great power comes great responsibility, okay? So it takes some, thought process on how you're doing these things. Because when I first started here, a number of years ago, you had BIU, and you had a fellow by the name of George Lender who worked at BIU, and he was a canvasser. And George would ride through Scottdale, okay, they got paid on my recollection is correct, on sort of a volume basis. And he would literally ride through Scottdale and write out, 35 tickets. Okay.
And present day, I guess my only point in the end is, I think council needs to come to the agreement and make sure Mr. Howard, who is temporarily taking on this job, knows exactly what his expected. So said they don't come back to him screaming and yelling.
Bringing up the present day, I had a resident online bragging about beating the borough in court because of a poorly written ordinance.
When?
Just recently.
When did that happen?
Yeah, and the judge said that it was poorly written and open-ended. It dealt with the vehicle being parked in the grass, wasn't on any kind of structure or anything, like a lot of other boroughs have in the ordinance for, but we don't. And here we go again.
I'm completely unaware of that.
Yeah, well,
I can tell you that anyone that I've handled, we have never lost.
well, you weren't there, so that.
What's that?
All right. Last thing to add is you, if I want to go
All right, let's
with
move on.
dotting the i's and crossing the t's in the international.
Even the word.
People sitting here, you will not like it. Not like it at all.
So there's a motion and a second on the floor to accept Mr. Howard as a code enforcement officer for the end of the year. Any more questions on the motion? Those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
I'm opposed. I feel you need someone with experience and nothing personal.
Yeah, what else is now? Okay.
That's uncalled for.
That's exactly
That's uncalled for. This is why people don't wanna come here and participate in this, because of stuff like that. That's uncalled for.
And you're not helping it either. Okay. The light update.
Wellspring Church, I reached out to the county, their involvement. Their EPA funding is held up, due to the shutdown. They said it's an evolving process. They're waiting to see how that pans out, before they get involved. I also, reached out to the folks at Diamond. Diamond is still in the same position they were before. They did tell me that there is electricity that's going to the building.
It's inside the building.
They're still servicing the antenna on top.
Yes.
They're under an obligation to have all that equipment removed within 6 months after they complete the tower in the back.
So we're talking 6 more months after it's.
That's maximum. That's maximum, after they complete the tower. So they can get it up before that, they'll get it up before that. They're still willing to, commit their $30,000 in funding, to assist with, anything that goes on with the Wellspring Church building. After that, the agreement on the 6 months has been in place for over a year now. Okay, so that's been in place.
It's been in place for over a year now.
That agree, yeah, because they had it, the way that they had an option on the property. That's what we did with them, because they had to do their due diligence before they could determine whether or not that was an appropriate site for the tower. So once they were able to complete their due diligence, they paid their $500 under the terms of the option, and they've entered into the formal lease agreement with the borough. So they're under construction. They're supposed to be under construction with the construction of the tower back behind the building. We already signed documents proving the co-location of other antenna to that tower. And again, under the terms of their agreement with the borough, it was narrowed over a year ago. They're supposed to have everything removed off that building within 6 months after completion of the tower, and they vacate their easement for the roof of the building. Okay, and those are the two things that the county wanted to have taken care of before they got involved. So we thought when we had our first meeting with the folks at the county that they had their EPA funding coming in. They were supposed to do a walkthrough of the building to do an environmental assessment on their own to determine what needed to be done in terms of cleanup. They were happy that we were going to be able to set aside money coming from Diamond to do the cleanup. So it's one of those things that is just going to take time. It's just been delayed by the.
I would like to invite you somewhere. I would like for you to drive when you leave here by the building and see what's all over the road.
If I had the ability to correct it tomorrow, okay.
Gary, that power needs to come off. And I'm not gonna stop until it is.
And that's fine. And quite frankly, when you come on to council, I would welcome that you sit in on every meeting I have with these people. Okay?
I mean, I've been sitting there on now.
And then you would hopefully see what I'm saying. Okay?
The electric needs to come off immediately. There is brick falling into this road. Like, this weather's changing, like, this is not a good situation.
The borough doesn't own the building. We can do things to ensure safety. The borough's already invested however much money it's invested to grow the fencing and those types of things. It's protection of the public. So you have to keep in mind that we don't own the building, and you don't own the building because you take total responsibility for it. You have the county who is sitting on the sidelines, who's waiting to jump in whenever the EPA funding comes available. Once EPA funding comes available, then what we'll wind up doing is entering into an agreement with the county to allow them to come in or to do the environmental assessment, what they need to do in order to determine, what to do with the building. And it's going to be a demolition project, as I am advised.
You do understand that there's the municipal authority is now involved because there is water. They're thinking that it's leaching into our water lines. There's 11 of us that have been tested. That's a whole other issue in itself. So now that we can't, our air, we have radiation coming through my bedroom window. Now I can't drink my water. That power needs to come off immediately. It is a danger. And there are things that you can do right now. Like, I know that you don't own this building. That electric can come off. Is it condemned? I don't know. Is this building condemned? No, it's not condemned. We have fake signs on this building right now.
This project is condemned for human occupancy. It can't be occupied.
You just said it's not condemned.
It can't, we're talking about condemned in terms of being torn down. That's not what the condemnation is under the International Property Maintenance Code. The condemned, they can't
For
be
occupancy, they're occupying the building.
for human occupancy. They have cell towers on the top. They have
So they
antenna
cannot,
on the top.
and they will not go up there to service them because they are saying that it's condemned.
They cannot go up there to service.
So
them.
nobody's,
They cannot go up there to servicing because the roof is in a dangerous condition.
exactly.
All I can
And
tell
that's
you-
where the electricity is. So this electricity needs to be turned off like tomorrow.
They get their issues.
I'm not taking no for an answer. You don't want me up here to hear
No, I'm serious.
It's bad.
When you get up there,
Cats are gonna chew through the.
Right.
I'm serious.
Yeah.
No, seriously, when you come up there, I want you to be a part of every conversation about health.
I talk to them
I want you to
constantly.
be a part of the conversations that I have, because they're different. What they may be telling you, and they're telling you are different things, and there are legal ramifications for this, okay?
Let them go over and flip the switch.
So.
It needs to be turned off.
Doesn't
I'm
tell
telling you.
Okay, there are liabilities to the borough, if we can tell them to do that, and they do that, okay? There's something called tortious interference with contract rights. They have a contract with AT&T at this point in time to broadcast or to use that group for their.
That's their contract.
Yeah, and if we tell them that they have to turn it off, okay, and they turn it off, when we take that to court, then there's a question about whether or not we have a capability to do that. Because whatever you're talking about in terms of transmission coming from the antennas, you have to keep in mind that the FCC has approved the effect transmission.
It's not being regulated. There's nobody checking the emissions off these towers.
The folks from
Who's been
Diamond,
out there?
the folks from Diamond are telling me different.
Well,
Okay. So in any event, so if these things are coming off in a couple of months, then okay, that will work.
we've been hearing that for a year now.
What is your responsibility as the representative of the community then if we bring in external, as residents, if we bring external sources to measure and provide readings on these things in our homes and we give that data to you as our solicitor, then where is your responsibility then?
Council would have to tell me to walk into a courtroom to add AT&T and Diamond to the complaint that we've already filed.
Okay.
In order to get a court order to bring the living law. Right. Well,
Right.
okay, if they give me that permission tonight.
Yeah.
Okay, and I went in and next week I filed a petition for leave to amend our complaint to add these people in.
Mhm.
Okay, and schedule a hearing in the court on police, Westmoreland County, to bring in expert testimony to show that this is a hazard and they should be removing stuff from the roof.
Mhm.
It's going to take more than the 6 months it's going to take for them to voluntarily remove it. Okay, that's just the way the court system is working right now.
Is it?
Yeah, it is.
And we've been waiting for these things for how long? So why don't we just fire it anyway?
We shouldn't hedge our bets. Because if they take longer than 6 months to remove it, if you're not going up there for servicing.
So the other problem that you have is that you are talking about the borough retaining expert witnesses, okay, to come in to testify. You're talking about AT&T coming in and saying, hey, we have a right under our existing lease to keep this stuff up and broadcast. Everything that we have on the roof has already been approved.
Right, okay, I'm so sorry. I understand there's a lot of details. What's the end?
The end is you want to get them to remove the antenna from the building and release the easement line that they have on top of the building.
I couldn't tell if you were going to explain the expense it would be to council as a reason for not doing, like, it seemed like that's where you were going, but then I kind of got lost in the story.
You're, depending on who you're talking about bringing in as an expert witness.
Okay.
To testify about that. I mean, you could be talking $2,500.
Seems like Stephanie knows the experts, so we
That
can
is
talk
like
about that.
$350.
Yeah, so like, yeah. I'm just saying, like, let's move us along.
I've been doing litigation work for 40 years, okay? And I will tell you that, to find a qualified expert is not going to cost you $300.
Well, I'll challenge you to that.
So,
Well, in any event, so.
before explaining that, I think I just wanted to understand what it was, when we get the information, like what.
It's a timing.
Let me chill.
It's a timing issue, okay? one of the things that we were able to do, to get Diamond some funds, had to do with not naming them in this litigation on the internal problems.
That's it.
On the internal problems.
So you promised that you were not gonna name them in this litigation?
That was part of the original deal that got them to pony up. There was an issue on whether or not we can do that. I aim to be as transparent as I can.
That's what we want.
Okay, so there's an issue on whether or not they actually can do that. Okay, on the roof is a little bit of a different issue. We were talking about the internal stuff that they had no control over, whatever chemicals were in the building, whatever, bats were in the building, whatever materials were in the building, DEP went in and did the assessment on it. And we were originally going to work with, the Hutchin to do the cleanup one. And once the county got involved, then there was no need for us to waste township money or borough money or Diamond's money to participate in that cleanup, because the county was going to assume the cost of it.
You voted for it already then to have Pocahontas come in and remove chemicals.
We voted to get estimates from, okay? And that.
Yeah, twice for that.
And that changed, because as far as we could tell, the DEP evaluation is done. Steve was, has gone through, but even with, McCutcheon is done. There's nothing that's leaking, okay? There's nothing that's going into the ground or anything along that line.
Lead in my water and there's radiation coming through my window. I don't know what more. There is medical evidence of this. The 2-year-old behind it's right next to my parents' house, very elevated levels. I've had the municipal authority, Facebook friend request me. They've worked in front of my house for 5 days. We cannot drink our water. That power needs to come off, and then we will deal with this whole water thing, like strip falling. It's falling all over the road. I don't know. It's not just a little bit.
If the building is condemned to occupancy,
Which
and say there was a hailstorm or tree fell or whatever that damaged this antenna, they wouldn't be able to go up to service it, correct?
they can
Yeah,
go.
that's
So isn't that a safety issue to the communities who you
And they're
not
easement.
have electricity to something that you cannot service? That's a safety issue.
Some easement says that they will service it.
Chemicals or radiation, the electricity to something that's not being able to be serviced on a condemned building is a safety issue to this borough. We should cut the electricity off.
Get into issues with interference.
Covering your ass.
Well, here's the thing. You're to represent us. You're to give us the legal advice. They are to decide this, and you're to tell us how to make that happen. We want the power off. And I know I'm not here yet, but I'm coming. So we want this power off. So tell us how to make that happen. That's what we want to know.
Do you want the reports from the water? Because Debbie lives on one side of the publishing house. I know Miss Mary in front of me. Emily's on my side of the publishing house. I'm just asking a question. I'm not challenging you. When you go to litigation, we do go to the county to try to get some information, if not monies or help, in quotation help, because we're so interplaced in what we're doing. Let me ask you this. We have gotten a water report on our house, and since Max is now taking care of all the water, if we go to sell our house, because Stephanie's on the opposite side as well, they will find that. We pay for, I and my husband, who now own our home, we do not rent, we own.
We can't. We're stuck. None of us.
We live the same proximity pretty much from the publishing house on either side of the equation.
You're talking about water, you're talking about storm water, right?
No, we're talking about water, drinking water.
So you contact the MEWC.
Oh, yeah.
And what did they say?
They said to talk to the council member. Talk to the council. I said, to me.
What did they say?
They said that, they said that
they confirmed that they test your water.
they did, we did,
Yes, we had got a private report.
What did they find?
They found the radiation in there as well, so they have a lead poisoning. The lead poisoning is within a certain limitation of amount. Since I have a thyroid disease, I am not able to use the water other than for bathing and washing my hands within certain ramifications. So that's for my knowledge alone that we pay for out of pocket with our money. So the thing is that my question is, do you want that upfront information? Because if it's us on that block, on the Market block, on the George block, getting that information to you so we get down the line.
Yeah, if you have a problem and you have a test result that shows there's a problem with your drinking water that's coming into your home from the MAWC line, get that too. Because we would have the ability then to go to the MAWC, because that becomes their problem at that moment.
Let's wait for Scottdale to have it as well, because your citizens are number one paying pocket to a water company to get their water tested. We have done that. And two, that's more power for you to have as well. But the thing is that we need you just support with information. I understand getting the power off dump is the.
What I'm saying is, you guys having it and me having it are two different things.
Correct, downstream.
Yeah, so if you get that information to me, then the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a phone call. And I'm going to have the solicitor for the MAWC on the line.
No, already done. We have our line cut in certain ways. So we have a purifier in the basement that we also had to pay through. But again, that's something that if you want that information, I will gladly hand you that information via email to Stacy. It's not a problem. But they were talking about the flight. If we have that information, and I agree with you, Stephanie, we need to give that up. Before you go to my litigation saying, this is the information, we have proof. Get that radio testing, and then you can take it to court as well. Get your monies back. You might not get all of it, but it shows there's an issue. And it shows there's something's going on. I agree with you, Chris. I was going to say as well, I'm out there walking around with Tiffany's block because her little kids are walking by. Halloween, I'm picking them up and throwing them over the fence. Not causing issues, but I understand where you're coming from. Where if you want that information, if you want me to call the police every 20 hours when somebody's walking through the building, I see homeless people. How many times I pick up a brick?
Yes, I do.
Do you want my whole feed on my front door?
What I'm saying is, if you see people entering into that building and they're entering it, you have in contravention of an order that is posted on the building that says that people are not supposed to be entering that building, then you should be calling the police. The police should be going up. And the police should be going in and checking it.
They're not going to that building.
Going in. They're driving around the block.
They're going out there.
Then that's an issue you should be taking up with the chief of police.
We've talked, and I'm full support them not going in that building. They should not be going in that building. This is a borough issue. This is not a police issue. It's a police issue when it's not 10 years in. That's
My
a
job
local
is
government issue.
to call the police and tell them, like there's solicitors walking around last week. There's no information about solicitors walking around next week. If there's people going in the building, it is my job as a citizen to call the police saying, hey, on the non-emergency number, that somebody's in the building. I see a light in the corner of the building because there's little kids that live on the next block, right next to it, Tiffany's house who lives there. The thing is that is my job. I would gladly give you the camera, get information, but the thing is that we're asking for that information like I asked last month. We want that information update, but you need to tell us what you need of us in the community because we need to get the borough and the.
You can identify the people going in there.
It's not my job to identify. That is the police.
What I'm saying is, if you have information of people going in and you're calling and reporting it, the police go up and they have the ability to identify the people who are trespassing onto that property.
Correct.
And those people should be cited, and they can be cited because they would be in violation of the terms of the borough's
This is the craziest conversation I think I've ever heard. Like, this is not.
But this affects us like
that's where the remedies are.
But they say they can't press charges when they don't know who the owner is.
Well, that's what I mean. We have to identify who these people are.
So the bottom line, I will send that report to Stacy because I got that done last year because we were concerned because of my personal issues. We paid for that out of pocket. Do you want the billing statement? Do you want Mac Water's information? Because I talked to them as well.
I want the test results and I want the dates that the tests were performed.
Absolutely. Do you want the winter and the summer ones?
Yes,
We have both.
everything you can get.
Understood. I will get those over to you, I promise.
Okay, yeah,
Thank you.
2 minutes soon, because then I can address that with the MAWC.
Correct, and we get that done bi-yearly, so that's the thing. I understand where you're coming from, I agree with you, the radon's probably there, it's probably there, because they know what chemicals are in there. So the thing is that we need to get that information, so you can take that to litigation.
So if you have the radon you're talking about, that.
It's radiation, it's not radon.
Right.
Okay,
My house had radon when I bought it. I had to mitigate.
okay. If you have some type of test result coming back from that property that shows that.
The entire neighborhood does.
You have a test result.
Yes.
We have George Street, Market Street, Walnut. The higher up you go, this shoots right in my bedroom window.
Who did the testing?
When we close our house.
I have it tested. I like to go around and fix all this.
I mean, do you have a test result?
We have professional people that came in and, yes, like not as, I do not have documented. We have people that are.
I do in terms of, okay.
Do you?
Yeah, I do. Because when I walk into a court,
Works document.
Hey, sir.
Workers has been staying all night. We make documents.
I am not even on documentation.
Thought that building from the beginning.
You have more information about that building than this borough has on that building. So.
Is that?
Started, not even,
You know what I said? I'm puzzled here. I don't have any kind of war plan or a worst case scenario. If you have a catastrophic failure in that building, or if you poison the whole damn hillside, do you have anything in place for that? Because right now, no, wait a minute, right now, I'm talking about the publishing house, how many years?
10.
And you take now tonight.
and I heard a little bit last meeting. You've been told that there are two houses up on top of that hill that are having problems with the water. You guys need to do something today. You can't pass the buck to them. You need to get in your wallet and take some of that money out of the bank you got from the sewer. And hire some professionals to take this because you're looking at a lawsuit down the road. They can just all do a let it sit there and you just all clench, hope nothing happens. But when that building comes down, you're gonna have major league problems if it comes down.
It's coming
Okay.
down.
Well, you got a water poisoning problem? I'm not even talking about radiation. You're telling them to get documentation. You need to have an army of people out there tomorrow going to every one of these houses.
I'm one person.
And how far does it go? Is it just their 10 houses or does it come downhill? You got houses downhill.
They told us it would be, it really affect a lot of people. Now we are at the highest elevation of the town.
Stephanie, if you hired professionals.
I'm not paying another penny to get it away.
No. Listen to the actual question. The actual question is, if you actually hired professionals, why do you not have documentation?
No, we had professionals come in as a courtesy. As a courtesy to us. I don't
So
have.
they aren't willing to put it in writing.
Then
They hire them to go online saying it's there.
Okay,
So
all right,
that's
wait a minute, I'm not getting anywhere.
Now we
Gary,
That's scary.
please, hold on one second. Gary, should we follow the MAWC and file our own complaint as the borough?
You know, this young lady in the back was independent to show that there's a problem with the water.
Right.
Get those to me and I will take care of that with the MAWC.
No. Get it to you, and she just drop motion.
So there's a third point of contact, that's okay?
She can
Think
drop
that
it.
was-
We put that on the file as well, because I've asked about my personal file for the house as well, just because of everything else. Because at this point, when we bought the house, we have those too, so I don't mind even giving you my lending information from when we bought the house, they tested everything, we got that.
Don't need that. Okay.
It shows that the level has been consistent since it's been we've been here for 4 years and this is going on for 9 years, just to give you the insight. We paid for that test as well, because now that MAC is saying, the water company is saying they need to test everything before they do that. Terracotta lines have everything lined in, because when we dug it up, we have physical evidence and we crossed out that line on our property. That's my own issue I'm dealing with. That's my own problem that I paid out of pocket to keep me safe. The thing is, the line is cut and we go through our filtration system because we did it. I would gladly give you the information because that's what the county was saying. They need this information so we can build a case against this place and get rid of them. I understand you got to go through your litigation. I could put from a lawyer, Esquire. I believe you're an Esquire as well. Coming from the same side of the coin here, I will give you what you need because you need that sealed proof. The county needs as well, so you can get through this too. We all can get through this because not only it's me, you, this, everyone else. It's going to trickle down. I will gladly give you that to Stacy. It's going to take me a hot minute to grab everything, but the thing is the consistency, showing that this is not a one-off situation where it's cold. It is leaking. This is an ongoing issue for somebody who bought a home during the process. So I just want to make sure I wanted to give you that information.
Yeah, and that's not a problem. If you get me that information, I will take care of it.
Understood.
I'm telling you that whenever you're dealing, in my experience, dealing with these larger scale environmental type issues, and I've been through this before.
Understood.
That who you're dealing with and how you're getting them to react to it is problematic. Okay.
Understood.
I can tell you that back when I was a city, when I was a city connect, we were cleaning up one of the gas plants down there. We had problems with leaching arsenic coming in PCPs coming from this old defunct gas plant. It was actually going into the backyards of a series of row houses that sat adjacent to it where kids were playing. So the city of Jeanette hired an environmental testing company, Diapoloni, to come in and do hard scale, testing.
Yeah.
And at that point in time, we had a warm body who owned the glass plant. And they came back to show high levels of arsenic and PCPs, in the backyard. So we sent that out to DEP, and the DEP went.
DP's coming at last. They're going to what that might have.
So in any event, so we finally got that cleaned up from the county, okay? And the county came in and that's a long story. I won't go into that. But so that's the whole plan in the whole battle plan all along has been to try to get the county to come in to take over the site, okay, because they obviously, you heard tonight, they have resources to do these things, they have ability. to do
Once the
these things.
antennas are off the roof,
Once
that's
the,
when they'll get involved.
once the easement is released for the roof, right?
The power needs to be turned off.
Well,
How do we do that?
if you get me the information that you have about, materials or whatever it is coming from the roof, I can certainly try to do that, but.
Well,
tell me-
the report that you have from the inspector that's saying that it's gonna be catastrophic. If, it'll be catastrophic failure,
If the roof collapses, yeah,
right, so, I mean, that's where they're located,
they know that,
so why is that not enough to get this power turned off?
because.
It's catastrophic.
Turned off?
Huh?
To get the power turned off?
Yeah.
Then that's a breach of their contract with AT&T.
It says catastrophic failure,
There's a breach of their contract with AT&T.
so they can have those up there even though it's unsafe.
We would have to get a judge's order to get them to turn off the power. And in order
So can you do that?
in order to do that, we would need to show that the mere fact that there was power generated to that facility is causing a problem. Okay, otherwise we can't just do it without proof. What I'm saying is, if you have some type of proof.
I
that there is some problem with, the radiation coming into your home, if you have some, quantifiable, evidence that we can present, then give it to me and let me take a look at it. I don't have it. All I have is you coming to the meeting, and telling me this stuff.
It was at home, because my home was condemned, I couldn't live there, and, there was still all these issues, but it was a home, not a business with all this stuff. Would they take off the power? Well, my power would be shut off because I wouldn't have paid the bill.
That's correct.
But why is there power like to lights and stuff? Like, who's paying that bill?
They are anonymous.
I know. All I can tell you is if you see people going into that building, call us, okay? And we'll tell them to at least, go up and document it because they're in violation of an order that prohibits people from coming into that building.
Sounds like.
And we can't do anything.
And it sounds like that AT&T and them, they can't go into the building because of the violation. So if they cannot go into service, you're not understanding, they can't go in, they won't go in, they try to hire third-party contractors.
But they got reports, Stephanie, that they've been there, you called them, right?
Well, I've called them,
So ask your police department to pull together the reports.
we talk, we want to be fine, police department.
I mean, it's not gonna have to document stuff,
Right, I think that's what I was gonna bring up, our police,
They don't.
or any other here. They file reports on their shift on where they go, what they do. So Gary, if they're seeing people going in there that are homeless people, that's, yeah.
I mean, you
Yeah.
may not be able to identify them, but I didn't think our police department would be in the first place, we would want.
So what I did, because I just called the non-emergency line, feel like a frequent flyer, because I feel like the Karen of the.
Oh, yeah.
The thing is, if I see it in my fisheye lens, or I'm outside with my puppies, I see that, I'm going, that's not supposed to be there, because there are little children, there are elderly live by me, that I'm not gonna let that happen, I'm, along with a couple other people, we're the younger ones on the block, we can't have that happen, so, again, that's why I asked those questions, because as a citizen, that's all I'm responsible doing.
Okay,
All
okay, all right. Let's move on. You bring your reports, and make sure Stacy gets them so she can forward them, to Gary.
Is there somebody from
We'll go
council
from there.
for us? Anybody from council that could help us out here with this lead and water?
I don't know anything about it.
How many documentation? I'm still looking for any documentation from you. I don't have any documentation to give.
Get the documentation. We can't do anything until
And
you.
can you, for the council at least, ask their police department to please report to somebody by a set date, you get the ball rolling.
We can do that.
Stay there you go. I asked, I get the. So I'll tell you which information I'm gonna dock it out, I will give you the information I need, but I do not want my sensitive information out to the public, I don't care if it's public.
No, that's.
No, but I need to declare that, see that very clearly, like you said, information is power, I want that clearly stated.
Please make sure it's copied or you copy it, have a copy.
Of course, I always do.
Don't release all your information, all your docs.
No, I want to make sure I said that clearly in the statement.
The only thing that we would need though is we would need the identifiable location of the contamination.
That's completely fine, that's known information, you can have that, because I state that in the meetings where I apply.
Okay.
All right.
We'll take care of it.
102 Mount Pleasant Road.
Okay. That's in Lynch fashion, that should be issued later this week. That'll go out to the property owner. They have 15 days to respond to that. We've all entered judgment, we missed a claim for $15,000 against the property. When the River Apache gets there and they fail to respond, then we'll file a motion of court to make the judgment absolute. Then we'll begin the execution process on the house. The house is free and clear, other than the municipal judgments, there's municipal claim for cutting grass against the two, but other than that, it's all good. The claim has been filed, now we just have to go through the execution process. So hopefully, within the next few months, we'll get that property brought up for a sheriff's sale, and you guys will own the property, and then you can work with the county to tear it down. And that'll be something that you can reuse the property for your trails and whatever the case may be, is necessary. It's in a good geographic location.
Hey, Gary, just let it be known that the door was open the other day down there
Okay.
in the house.
Okay.
So we're not going in that house to see if there's anybody in there because the floors aren't.
Exactly.
And everything, so.
Well, as far as I know, there's nothing toxic in there. Okay.
Might be some dead people in there, who cares?
Well, let's find that out.
Do you hear what he's saying? He said the police department's not gonna go in.
You only make it to the front door.
In case they're gonna go into this building, publishing house.
I think that what they need to do is they need to find out.
They need to listen to our chief and do what they said. The chief says, not what we say. They know, he knows how to keep the department safe. It's a local government issue. It's not a police issue anymore.
If the chief is saying that, the chief and I will have a conversation.
Chief didn't say anything. I'm saying it's up to the chief to decide what his department does.
What I'm saying is that what we will have to do is we'll work with the mayor, the council will work with the mayor and the chief to see what can be done to identify the individuals who are going into the building. That's what we need to do. If they're not doing that, they should be doing that. That's what I'm telling you.
They go above and beyond, but they're not going into that building.
We will say. So if you guys are making phone calls and they're not
They should not
responding,
be going into that building either.
if you're making phone calls and they're not responding,
If they respond to us, they go above and beyond. The police department's not the issue. The local council is the issue, and Gary, I'm starting to board the issue.
What he's saying is that's your report.
All right,
okay.
all right.
Okay, so
On to
okay, so 102 Mount Pleasant, that's in the process of execution. I'm sorry, confirming the judgment and getting a writ of execution so we can have the property torn down. The feed mill,
hold on, let's skip down to the thing. So Andy comes back. You have the information on sheets of the email.
well, I have the information on feed mill.
Okay.
So on the feed mill and Fink, both of those properties have been released from the bankruptcy. Okay, so technically title was back in the hands of the individual who was the original owner. So we can go through the process that we normally do, in order to, divest title and get the person property, clean them up, or to get them conveyed out. So that takes an action by your new code enforcement officer to go through the building, come up with a quick notice of violation so that we could walk into a courtroom and get that process started. We can reach out to the owner of the property to see if they would voluntarily convey it to get out from under a potential judgment, which is what we've done in every other case that we've handled, and that we've been successful in every other case we've done this in. So if Andy has people who are now interested in taking over either or both of those buildings, then that's fine. You can do that. The other thing is, now that has been released, the Fink building has been released, that's the one that has problems on Pittsburgh Street. Once your code enforcement officer issues a notice, an emergency notice, repair, and I'll get you that information. Okay, if you give me an email address, I can email stuff to you. I'll get you the information on how to go about doing that. And then he can direct the emergency repairs and the borough can go in and board it up. Okay, take care of the windows and those things immediately. We couldn't do that without having a code enforcement officer.
Right, I understand.
So, yeah, so if you give me your contact information, I can give you that information. I can tell you how to do it, you copy the administrative provisions. And, we already have a format for doing that. And so I can give you that information. All you have to do is go in, take a look at the building and issue your order.
When they go back to the original owner, is that the original owner, John Chang?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's who it goes out to at this point, Sharon. Yeah, the problem we had before is it's caught in bankruptcy.
Right.
And that's the way it is. Okay. So, yeah, so we can take care of the things over the fee building, the fee goes for the whole thing, it's not in that type of emergency, type of situation. But, give me your contact information, I'll get you that information, then you can issue an order, and then, you can go ahead and get the order about those stations.
Did Andy get arrested back then?
Andy might.
See us about what we're talking about here on this building, okay? After the meeting.
Okay,
Then I don't know what's going on with the sheets, so.
yeah, can I just move on to my sales? When Andy says that will be after the sheets going.
Right, so Parks and Rec, the only thing I have on here is budget for transparency. We're not meeting in November and December because of the holidays. Our last budget was $51,119. We are proposing an increase to 67. And the reason being is there was a $10,000 error for grass cutting last year, which would have been at 61. So we're going from 61 to 67. Mary Yeager brought a bunch of concerns to the Parks Commission, that she wanted some updates in there. We built some things into it, but realistically, until we look at a preliminary budget for the entire, we can't increase it $200,000. It's just not realistic. So I just wanted for transparency, that we are increasing, it would technically be 61 to 67, because the cost of things going up. That's all I have.
Sandy, on back to you.
All right, you guys ready? I don't have a detailed report. I asked, they will have a detailed report that we will submit to you, Gary. But this goes back to 2000, they said 2023.
Okay.
Roughly. They had some before then. They're trying to determine when the building was
I
actually.
think that's what we filed,
Okay,
late 2023.
35 calls.
Yeah.
They'll get a more of a detailed report over. Okay, I just wanted something quick, so we're not holding a meeting up. So they'll have a detailed report on those calls. Those are all calls for vagrants that were
Okay.
in the building.
So Stephanie, let me ask you a question. You have any idea how they're getting in?
I know exactly how they're getting.
You know, they're getting.
Yeah.
You want to
You know how
share?
they're getting them.
That's the way you got me.
Yeah, same way I do. Plus the
Yeah,
wood
we,
door.
we got that fence up now.
Yeah.
They climb.
I love they climb.
Hopefully, would you tell me what they're doing? So I know how to correct it.
They must have door down.
You won't see it in the watching.
They must have the door down.
And kicking it in.
It's on,
Is that little man door?
Yeah, it's why.
Man door next to the dock,
Mhm.
on the back side. What's that road? Grove Street, there's a man door, they're kicking the man door. Is that what I'm
It's
getting?
a hell of a time for me to get in, but I screwed it shut when I was done.
You would have shot first.
That's good. They do a lot of work to get in, but.
We have cameras everywhere.
Do you have?
Natural.
Where?
We don't have one on door.
They don't have one on that. Loud as it's gonna be.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. So you have a truck people from the over
Mine doesn't reach that far.
Wi-Fi?
My,
Wi-Fi.
Maybe we can supply our code enforcement officer with, from cameras.
Like a trail cam like you use for deer?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll donate that.
Wi-Fi is really bad. It's one of them.
We have some video we're breaking into that, okay? Well, there's other things we can do just besides calling the police. Getting the police reports are one thing. What we can do is we can take the trail cam photos, we can post them on social media. We can say, can you identify any of these people?
I tell you who these people are. It's not
Sure, you can tell me who they are, then tell me who they are.
Department has videos. All been doing this, like.
Then what I'd like you to do is give me a list of names of people who are broken in there. And if you can give me the times, dates, places, the times that they broke in, then we can have them prosecuted. If you know who they are, and you know when they're breaking in, you need to tell me that information, because if I'm in front of a judge, they're gonna ask me those questions. How do you know this? You have to have a witness to say this. I agree with you. I'm telling you, if you know this stuff, I think it's a point so that we can do this. Okay?
Make you a list of all the people that broke into this place.
Yes, and you can identify where they did it, and we'll call you as a witness.
No,
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
The Sheets building, okay. The Sheets building, the Norfolk and Southern. And the lease has been, I don't know for how long, Parsons has a lease on it. Now, they're using it for parking facility. I don't know what's going on with the building. The building does need work done, because of the outside of it, the appearance and everything like that. But we now have an owner, okay, of that property, of that site. It's not Sheets, and it's Norfolk Southern still owns it, but they're leasing it out. And that's what I found out. I can reach back over to him and see, he would tell me what the terms are, or, go and talk to, Mr. Carson and see what's going on with that building. The feed mill and the zinc building, good news tonight. Okay, from what you told me, my two investors are still very interested.
Okay.
So you wanted me to make a motion to authorize.
Me to reach out to the paying lease and then to start the steps.
Yeah, for the suit to go for the, what is it, would you conveyance?
Well, what we do is we would send that, we would get our new code enforcement officer to go into the buildings, declare them to be a public nuisance, and then, drop the complaint, names on change dependent on the complaint, and then see if we can persuade him to get out from under any liability by conveying the and hopefully do that without having to go through a 6-month period with some people we've had to go through, or a 2-year period like with back to with others. So as long as he's cooperative, I mean, it should be okay. Hopefully we'll have to do that. Also, I think you will have information from the police. We were discussing, having an emergency, the declaration of emergency. We declared by the code enforcement officer of the borough, so the borough can go in and fix the windows. So, it doesn't fall down onto the shit.
It's not only the windows, but also up the top when the parapet, I think at the roof. The lady that has the business next door.
Whenever we take to secure, we can lean the cost of repair against the goal.
She was here last month, what you're saying about the person going on.
I can reach for that. Okay.
Okay, so that's what I got for.
Okay.
And that's all I have on this slide.
Okay, thank you. All right, Jacobs Creek Watershed Association.
You did this on my phone. You didn't have the bids. I'm not sure that's fine.
Well, it was in next item on the agenda. Jacobs Creek Flood Slope Project.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get carrying on here. Jacobs Creek Watershed, control project bid for brush and creek cleanup.
All right, we only got one bid in that we put out, and it was from Bay West Tree Management. This is to clean up the brush and spray along Jacobs Creek and all the designated areas. All right. Bay West Tree Management Incorporated bid for the full project, $95 per hour. Hourly rate for tree removal, $225 per hour. And hourly rate for stump and tree removal, $115 per hour. Weed spraying services, he bid $22.50 cost per acre. And then he lists his client references and his list of equipment.
What's he spraying?
Yeah, he's spraying, I don't know if he put in, he did not put any type of chemical down that he's gonna be using.
I'm confused, when do we
We put this out last council meeting.
I haven't seen it here about it. Do we have something built in to pay for this?
it comes out of the Gibbs Creek watershed account.
So how much of the tributary are they planning to eradicate the debris in that from?
Made it, Jacob, whenever, Mike Barrett sent the paperwork in, he highlighted from Stopper Run down to the Fifth Avenue Bridge. So on that, it's a lot. That is a lot.
The whole chain's up.
Yeah.
The whole chain.
That hasn't been done. In a while.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
1997.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Years back, it was supposed to be a three-phase project.
You're talking about dredging. That's dredging, we're not talking about dredging.
Oh, it's a dredging.
Yeah, because there's hemlock, there's a lot of hemlock through the creek and,
I think this is where they came to us and wanted us, they were gonna write a grant and didn't get a grant for it. So now they want us to pay for it.
Yeah, they mentioned it last year. You should know what kind of chemical they're gonna use for, don't you?
we
Like,
should, yeah, he should have provided that, he did not give us anything.
Yeah, there are streets for hours in there, but.
Yeah,
I don't
it
know how
could be
many
the same
hours.
chemical that the railroad used to spray right along the creek.
Is it only one bid we got to?
Yeah,
I don't even know that I'm with that hole.
Wait, none of us have really told us that's not it.
And we'll send it out for rebid.
So
In the bid description, does it say to provide the description of the chemicals, estimated hours?
I don't believe that was written in there.
we need
Jacob's
to, we need
Creek.
a cost. We can't just say,
Yeah.
go do it and then comes in.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
Jacob's
it.
Creek Committee put everything together and we just approved them to put it out for bid. It wasn't drafted by us.
Okay, but I'm saying that if that information wasn't requested, they wouldn't have had to provide it on bid.
It needs fine tuned. So what department would this be under? Is it?
Mike Barrett wrote this.
What department would handle this so that we can fine line, make sure we have what we need? I know it's not a park. I know we have JCWA, whatever on our stuff, but this needs fine line.
Would that go under this?
It's always been Jacob's Creek
Jacob's
watershed.
Creek.
Yes,
Flood
so
control.
what we're saying is we need to refine this search.
Right.
So who is going to work on this to tell them what we need? That's what we want to find out.
Well,
Sounds good, we can say go do it, but we need to give them some
Well,
specs.
should we send this back to Mike Barrett and tell him to refine?
It's not my fair, somebody from us has to
Somebody
give,
wrote the.
but somebody from us has to give them what we want back. So,
Okay, that's my question, yes.
I'm trying to figure out.
Question, go into the original agreement, is the banks and stuff have to be put back the original condition as it was in the beginning. That's
About dredging.
No, I'm talking about the fees and everything.
Yeah, there's a lot.
I'm not talking about the dredging. I'm talking about the bank.
And we'll figure out, if someone wants to help me,
I'll help you out.
So let me see, Stacy, let me know what you have information, we'll set something up and we can work on it so that we can put this out, otherwise we're the same.
Okay. Alright, so we'll read that down.
I'm going to listen.
MS4 report. Is there
We don't have anything this month.
Okay. Community development, CDBG application processing bill.
$1,000 bill, right?
Yeah, that comes out. See,
Make the motion that we pay the CDBG 25 application fee.
Second by Andy. Motion by Charity to pay the, how much was it?
$4,000.
$4,000.
It comes
It comes out of the CBDG fund, it doesn't come out of the general fund. Question on the motion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Like Charity. Okay. New business, preliminary budget.
Have some questions we want to go through. Okay. All right, so in the packet, we were given the profit loss, or profit versus loss budget versus actual, so that's one statement. We were also given the line item, the new version of Stacy's line item. And then the third thing we were given was the summary that was the upright page, right? So when I refer to it, we'll know where to find the information. So the first one comes off of the revenue, which is, the summary one. The code number is 310210, for 2024. It's saying that it's increased by $170,000. So I'm looking at the big packet. Okay, I'm looking at code number 310210. In 24, we budgeted 485. It actually was 655, and it was an increase of 170. Do you know why that was?
No.
Can you go back to the line number?
I'm sorry. 310210. Okay, it's on the first page, it's under Local Tax Enabling Act. Should say page 1 at the bottom of it.
Yeah.
That's our income tax.
Right, so to me, it seems that it's something fishy there. From 485 to 655, it's $170,000 increase.
That's budget versus actual.
No, that's actual versus what you used. Budget was 485, actual was 655 with an increase of 170. So why is it 170 there but not 170 and 25? And not projected 170 and 26? It's a lot of money to just lay out and say you're not sure about.
I didn't build the 24 budget, so I just was replicating whatever we were looking at coming forward.
Well, we didn't replicate 24 to 25 though, because there's not 170,000 there. We actually went down 40,000.
We're not there yet. We still have money coming in.
Which is 41,000 according to this last column, right?
That's estimated, yes.
That's at 480, that's not 655.
No, we lowballed.
Okay, so just so we know, that could be.
It could be higher, very well could be.
It could very well be.
I talked to the tax departments of our timer and our tax collector, and they gave me the lowball estimates. They said they're more than likely, and looking back at last year, we did get a surplus by the end of December.
If we land at 655, we're $170,000 on the bond, under budget, 170,000, just putting it out there. Fire tax contribution, 01411,508. So that is on page 3 or 4. That's actually 6, it's back and forth. Okay, page 6. Fire tax contribution, 24, 58,159. Actually, it ended up being 106 in 24. 25, 58,000 we budgeted again. It's actually right now 29,000 and we're giving 25 more thousands.
That's estimated again, yes.
So we should be, it's showing $106,000, it should be 56,000. And the way that you figure that out is you take the 67,000 that we were budgeted, $387.94, the times 2 divided by 24, we should be at 56,126.
We're going off the formula and with the tax statements that come in. I have all this paperwork.
My concern here is that we are estimated to be at $56,000. In the 26 that you were putting out budget, you're budgeting 50. I mean, we're going to be $6,000 short.
For next year, yes.
For next year, $6,000 short. So we're going to be $6,000 short on the budget, that line item. So that number needs to change. It's not accurate. It's 56,126. 57 would still give you like $700. That number is not right. And I think in what you gave us today, it still wasn't changed. The next one, the general government budget. 01351,010. And this is page 3. My concern is 24. We had $7,800, but we didn't budget that we did end up using. 25, we don't have anything right now. Do we have anything anticipated? Because there's nothing in that last
As
column.
soon as that freeze releases, I didn't want to bank on that for this year. Everything's locked up at the DOJ right now.
You think it's going to be a deficit though for us?
I'm gonna say no, not with the projection.
So $7,800 that we're not budgeting from that could potentially could be in there. Right, the next one is community development, 01354 014, same page. I think I talked to you about this earlier. This was the 51,760 that we used in 24. We budgeted nothing for 25, but I think you told me earlier that
That was
we
grant
put it
money.
in 394.
Yeah, that was grant money that came in.
So this was the grant money. So I think what this is about is that we added line items that we didn't have before. She had it in a different line item. The money's still there. It's just not coded in the same line item. That's the 28,000. That would be the multimodal grant that we had for 28,000 and the 4,000 CDBG, 4,600. If you look at the summary page,
CDBG's on the bottom.
CDBG's on the bottom now and it shows 0 on the summary page. But she's including it, I would assume,
Yeah,
on the
it's
top portion. But that's $28,000, so I just wanna make sure we want. Is that right? The 28,000, you moved it to the 419, is that?
Yes.
Is it on the actuals,
on the-
summary actual?
It's in the grants. Not on the new list, on your. if you look at the
It's
detail.
under miscellaneous revenue, that's what it was, 2.5 million, and I said, well, where's the other money in there? She said that was the, CD that we cashed in, the funds from the sewer authority. So that $28,000 is inside at 380 is what she's saying. All right, is there an error on 499? $499 is, I believe, the last page. Should it be 01399? Where is all the pages? There it is, page 4. It's under interfund operation transfers.
That was a line item that was already existing in your initial QuickBooks setup. I left it the same.
Which one was this again?
01499. It's on page 5, but it doesn't match the numbers because everything else in there is 394, 399. This one's 499. See that? That's very last line item on that page.
Uncategorized income.
Yes. No, interfund operating transfers. On the very bottom of page 3 of this big packet. The numbers don't match up, and I was wondering, is that just a typo or? See, this first one is 01394, then we have 399, then we have 499. Doesn't seem like it fits in there. We had 797. I mean, it's small change. 797. The first one. We don't. What is that income? Do we have anything projected to go in there?
No, because what they, in the classes, they said not to use those line items.
What about the code itself? Is it the wrong code?
It is the wrong
So
code.
it should be 399. The expense report, 01411,508. So 411,508. This is under fire. Page 6.
Okay.
I think we addressed this. This is the one we need to have a
Line item.
411,508.
Okay.
This is the one we have to make sure there's 60,000 in there at least. Because it was 58 last year. We lowered it. It's not going to cover it because of the fire tax. To figure the fire tax out, you would take the.
Yeah, we sat down with Kathy on it.
Okay, I just the numbers don't. It's under. It's $7,000 under. This is the second one, $14,000 under budget.
Okay, well, that one.
All right, 456,100. 456,100 is the contribution to the library, page 12. To figure that out, you take the real estate rate, which was the 720 that we did. Take that, their mileage is 0.09, and divide it by 24. It should be 25,523.01. So we're under on that. If you estimated 20,000, it should be 25,000 at least. So that's another 5,000 we'd be under budget. I just don't want us to happen what happened with the grass cutting and 10,000 under budget with these small numbers to be under budget. And here we are, $80,000. All right, 472,500, which is debt interest. What is that?
That's for the loan at bid pen.
So we don't have any interest coming in this year?
This is what we're paying out. This is expense.
Right, so shouldn't there be a 215 on that too as well? It's all zeros.
On the income.
Mm-hmm.
That would be under the other interest earnings.
You see the 24, how there's 215, 25, we showed nothing, 26, we showed nothing.
There's a loan on the truck, right?
There is.
Okay, and the debt interest.
That's what we're paying.
Money
That's what we're paying.
Yes,
Okay, so we're still paying on this, right?
Yes.
But there says zero, right?
Yes. Saying zero, 472,500 is zero. It's $215 in 24, nothing in truck.
You're looking at truck loan interest. It's in that line.
Up above.
Yes.
2 lines above.
Yes.
So $300.
That's what we're paying out for next year on the letter.
Which, are you sure is that an accurate number? It's gonna be less than it was last year?
Yes.
So we're down $15 less in interest. All right.
That interest is like if we would take anything else out.
Okay. All right,
Well,
the next one is 480,002 miscellaneous expenditures.
These are line items they told us not to use.
Not to use them, so we used them in 24, and now we're not using them in 25. Where does that go? Just what?
That's 6156. I gotta look and see what that is. That might get a typo. But those miscellaneous, they told us not to use those.
But we don't know what this was for.
I gotta look at that 61 was.
Put a star on that.
Yeah.
We need to look and see what that. Don't feel comfortable.
Because that's a lot of money.
The 24, I don't know what the 24th was. We'd have to look at it. Somebody get some grants.
Yeah, I don't know. That's what I just wanted to bring that attention before we pass it over and say, well, try to prevent a problem from happening before it happens. All right, 399 zeros. That's the fund balance forward one. That's the one that you corrected today on the summary. So if you look at the summary page, which is the one page she gave you today, you can see that in 2024, we brought over $240,931. And we're bringing over $392,140. Is that correct?
That's
So we'll start forward with that. Some places either transfer that to the savings and make the interest, or some people do it with zero. In past practice, we've always moved it over. That's why I was asking.
Yeah,
to see-
because in the
to help
class.
balance it so that we're not charging taxes to the residents while we're putting money into savings. That's not real fair.
Yeah, that's how they taught us when it's supposed to do it. For
So
the
that,
savings.
that number to the right, the 392 is what we have to carry.
392, 148, we're carrying over to 26.
Yeah, that's what we have to carry. We have to have a carryover because we
Correct.
don't want.
That's what, when I put in an email that there was a zero in there, I said we need to have something carried over.
Yeah,
So that we're carrying over, which is good.
yeah.
But I just don't want to put it in a bank and then say, hey, we're raising your taxes while we put money in the bank. So, okay.
So that's our carryover for
Yes.
our total revenue is up above less the CD.
Yes.
Mhm.
That was our total revenue.
Yes.
I'm trying to see on this page that you gave us where we have our expenditures are up there next to the blue line.
Yes,
The top portion of
the
it.
top part is your revenues, your bottom is your expenditures. Revenues proposed for next year is $2,131,303. And expenditures is $2,076,928.
So we're okay. We balanced out, have some change left.
Yeah, so,
But with these changes we made tonight, where are we?
well, what we could do is we need to have proposed budget just for advertising with amendments to what you brought up, to amend those numbers to make sure those numbers are right.
Okay.
Right.
How do we write it up with amendments?
Yeah, we can have a proposed budget with, that there's gonna be amended with your new numbers, to put your new numbers in there. They're just other corrections, aren't they? Is that what you found?
As long as we're okay with it as a council and there's nothing else that we're missing.
Yeah.
The only one I had questions on, nobody got back to me was, and this is looking towards next year. I budgeted high on general government for the training and conferences. With us having a whole new group coming in, I know just from my personal experience, the classes that I've been taking and attending, they have been extremely helpful, and I would highly recommend every council person, include new and old.
I think every new council person has to go to boot camp.
We can't make them, but we can, if we need to have the funds there, if they choose to, we, refer them to, we send them.
I put 10,000 down for the budget, just trying to consider everybody as a whole.
Andy, you, Mary, and I went, was extremely helpful.
The online classes, if we go with the PSAB program like we did last year, it gives us a good discount. It's a PSAB plus membership. It gives a discount on the online classes and in-person classes. So there are a lot that you can do. And I think it would be beneficial for all of the new and old council members to do it. So that's why I put that number so high. I mean, it could definitely come down some, but I would take your input and see where you guys want that as a whole.
I can agree with you, definitely, you need that on training.
I don't think it's a bad thing.
Who's the second? Oh, we have two.
So on our proposed budget, which is the final sheet, we have a revenue source that's coming in that we're anticipating in taxes. We have expenditures that we're anticipating with, we have a surplus that we're bringing over.
We do, that's not including what I just questioned. And I
Yeah,
have a couple
I have
more.
questions too.
Okay, well, that's why I'm asking.
So now, let me finish this first and then we'll decide from that whether we wanna.
Okay, all right, and I'm sorry to interrupt.
Oh, you're good. Okay, so 456,100. 456,100 is the library, which it should be, let me correct myself because I think I told you wrong, it should be 27,270. We are projecting 20,000, however, 727 times the 0.909 divided by 24 should be 27,535. So if you want to go 2,800, that's fine. Or 27,500, it would still cover us. Right now it's 20,000, that's 7,000 under budget.
That's our millage contribution.
Correct, we automatically have to pay.
Yeah, we are.
It's didn't calculate it to the full list, all right,
My phone keeps getting goofy.
492,010 is actually a transfer to the general fund.
That was an old line item that was in there. That amount for 2025 is one of the CDs that we cashed out and put into the savings, and then we put it as the CD.
That was in there and then we moved it back to the savings.
I still have to show that on this.
Did we transfer, we were supposed to transfer close to $150,000 of
I
interest
can't do
over,
that until the CD comes due.
which is December, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So we'll have some factors in that with more money that's coming in from interest from the money in the bank.
So on what you're calculating with that interest coming in, we're going to have a little bit larger surplus. But you still got to cover all those ones you
Right.
found on this line.
7,000 to 5,000.
Yeah.
I mean, that adds up quick. I think that's all number wise I found that were there and off the top of my head.
Well, a proposed budget is exactly what it is. It's the proposed budget, all right? We can go in and refine it. And the other part of it is with new council members coming on board, they can request to reopen the budget back up if they want to. And examine it. So what we're doing here tonight is to get it out for advertisement. Am I correct, Mr. Solicitor?
To show that it's balanced.
Yeah.
And anytime during the course of the year, even if you amend the budget in January, if you amend the budget in January, then you have to adopt the final version of the amended judgment to amend the budget by February 15th. That's correct. Yeah. And then at any point in time during the course of the year, you can by motion reallocate funds from one line item to another to cover it.
Right.
Yeah.
And then one thing after sitting down with all of the different tax people that I spoke with, one thing that came up, and I don't know if it's too late in the game to even think about this or to consider it for the following year, is do away with the per capita tax and increase the EIT by 0.75 mil, which would be, if we're already at 24, so it would just be 24.75.
You can increase the year too.
That was, they were giving us that information in class and the tax. People
We'll
that
hear, look
had
into,
suggested
something to
it.
look into.
A lot of municipalities are doing away with per capita tax. Just because it's so, for such a small amount of money per person, it is very hard to get people to pay it. And it's like paying collections fees to track people down. And in the long run, you have to ask yourself, is it really worth the stress and the postage and the collections agencies?
I mean,
So, that was just one thing. I don't know if, like I said, if it's too late in the game for this year to consider it, but maybe looking towards next year.
now it definitely have to be an ordinance. We'd have to pass to change that.
Yeah, that's accurate. I was want to check the provision of the local tax rate like that. Make sure you're not capped as a borough anymore.
Right.
Hey, this cell tower one that we have, where to ask this, 342,003.
Yes.
Is that, I can't remember what we standardly said we were gonna get for that. Is that's, was paid or projected to be 15,000
As
for the year?
for where we're at, yes,
We get payments this year.
we only received one $500 payment. And I believe that's all we will get for the rest of this year unless they get that whole.
They become operational, you should be getting about 1,500 a month. Off the
So
bat.
did we figure the
Well,
1,500?
we didn't, no, I only budgeted 1,200, 1,250. Because, only because T-Mobile has not completed their contract yet.
So that would be more in our
So it would be 1,500
revenue than we would have.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't
It's not
want,
a lot, but it's
do I wanna,
something.
they're still talking back and forth, so I did not want to commit to putting them in there and then them not going on the tower.
Right. I mean, I'd rather be better safe than sorry because we put in 1,500 only getting to 12 and.
Yeah, I'm in
Anyways.
I'm in an email group with them and I've seen the conversations go back and forth. They're still working some stuff out, but we did get their building permit approved, so I'm hopeful and I think that it's gonna go that route, but until I see the signed document, I'm not going to count them. I don't wanna.
My bigger concern would be that these fire tax and the library are given the correct amount because we already know what that is given in. Did we, when you did this, I'm not familiar with this, for the past 8 years on council, we always did this and it kind of just summarized it. Did you, this is an Excel sheet, right?
Yes.
Did you sum the columns to make sure the numbers are correct on it? I didn't add them all.
Yeah, if you've got
5
yeah.
pages and I was not doing it.
No, they're all there. I
Just want to make sure that we're right, because if we make a mathematical error, we're in trouble.
Yeah, my instructors I've been working with, they've been great with working with me one-on-one. And we set up Zoom calls like once a week and we sit and go through the file and I do the share screen so they have access to my
I would just
file.
make sure that each one of these are summarized, so like, let's say whatever the cell number is, just to make sure you double check the summarizing to make sure that we're on page. If we have a math error somewhere, or we didn't change something back, or if you click in that row and there's not a formula in there, then we could have a problem. That's all I have to question was.
So all of the, what you did there, Charity, all the corrections that you went over, thank you for going through that and doing that review. So we can still do the proposal on the final sheet, and those other corrections that you're looking to maybe change, that can be done in the finalized budget. We just
Don't we need to make sure that, do we have to initially say that we're either raising or not raising, not yet, just a clear?
that comes after the fact.
So that would be where, Mary, whatever you have, in addition to what I just put up.
Okay.
And we would need to advertise it, and then next month we come back to it and say, are these the numbers that, or they change accurately, and then make another, whether it's staying the same, raising, whatever.
Okay,
All right, what do you have?
Okay,
You
so
have
I have-
changes to
I have questions.
questions, okay.
Okay. And I had to print this out at home. It didn't entirely print, so if I'm off here, just let me know. So anyways, line item 01-322-300.
Yes.
Street cut opening permits.
Yes.
I know we had street openings this year.
Yes, that was classified under street, alley, and sidewalk encouragements.
I think what she did was she took that
I
into
double checked.
category, Mary, and she separated it out into, I went through mine and highlighted the orange ones
Yes.
to make them, these are all the new ones, and she spread them out so we can specifically say it's coming from this item. All of those are new, demo permits, curb cuts, street alley, sidewalk encouragement, that was all wrapped in one line item in the 24 budget.
Okay.
I think that's probably what
That's
you're
correct.
saying, because
Yes.
we're allotting, $500. Looks like budgeted for 26 on both the street cut openings and the street alley encroachments. Which in the past,
We are fighting with, the utility companies on getting reimbursements. I've had to send certified letters to them to collect our money.
which I don't think it's fair that we don't know the sewage line and we pay for risers either. That's not fair either. We didn't budget that though. Is that true in most municipalities?
That's what, MAWC does with all the, any place they have sewer, they all supply the riser.
So the paving project is PennDOT's gonna be doing next year.
We have to
We have
provide
to pay
all
for the
those.
risers.
So we factored that in because Chestnut Street and Pittsburgh Street are getting paid by PennDOT, but we have to pay for the risers. Which is the round, for those who don't know, it's the round metal thing they put on top that raises the road up, with the cap on. Well, I learned that on the project. That's what that is.
Okay, line 01-322-500, non-business license and permits. In 24,
That was a typo. I
what's
seen
a
that.
typo?
Look like it duplicated. If you look at the above line, it's a duplicate for 24.
So in 24, we budgeted 8,000, but only used 3972.
That's income. That was a typo of income.
So which line is right? 322, 400 or 500?
The 400 is correct.
So it shouldn't be in the 500.
Right.
Those should all be zero.
This year, we only got $150 in for non-business licenses and permits. That was one that we did not budget for just because you can't forget.
3972 was the construction we had at one of the places that is renovating. That's why it was so high in 24.
And
So why
we are estimating zero this year.
Because you
You're
don't,
no.
that is one that you don't know if you're actually gonna get.
It's for somebody who applies for a permit to build something, add something on, change something.
No.
But I think realistically, as long as we lot 500 for each one of them, we're still in the grand scheme of 1,000 versus in the past years.
Okay, interest earnings 01-341-003. Interest earnings, certificates of deposit. Is this all the CDs?
This is the two, yes.
That's the interest.
We only have two right now.
Yes.
Interest off of them.
What about the sale of the
That's in, we haven't got that interest yet, so it's not gonna register yet until I put that in there in December when we get the CD amount.
CD has to come through.
The CD has to come through first.
45,000 in that last column. I don't know if it's cut off, but it's supposed to be estimated at 45,000. We're supposed to get in addition to that 86 that's in there, which should make it 101,000 in the end. Well,
It might be.
146.
I was gonna say, it may be more too. I don't know whether. And the Fed did just drop the rates again, just to put that out there.
Keep that
Yeah,
in mind for going short term.
Yes.
I'm really at a disadvantage here because the whole thing didn't print out. So
Do you wanna get with me during the day on the computer? Might it be easier?
if somebody could print me out something here, that would be great, and I could pick it up. Okay. So there's no point in me going any further.
So are we okay to go with our proposed budget based upon the conclusion that we have here, revenue versus what we have in expenditures and our carryover?
With the adjustments I made tonight, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it would be a motion to approve the proposed budget.
Okay.
Proposed temporary.
Right, proposed budget.
Advertised and adopted.
Right.
December.
We, even the corrections that Charity made or Barry's gonna make, we can still come back in and make them. We just have to get on this road. And we gotta have something out there to advertise.
I asked that she makes the changes on there and resends it to us so that I make sure those numbers are what I have.
That's what I was.
Depending on the nature of the amendments, that could be maybe something later.
Yeah.
There are any other changes, but then you would adopt that as your final budget, it's advertised, and you're good to go. So your January meeting, your reorganization meeting, then incoming council members to make a motion to reopen the budget if they want to. You go back and do the same thing all over again. In the month of January and finalized by February 15th.
You still want to be here on December the 24th, finalizing a budget.
Gary,
I've been there and done that.
So have I.
Gary, in December, if you then decide that you're going to approve that, you have to give 10 days for the public to view it.
If you amend it afterwards, that's correct.
Yes.
Just after 10 days though, I think.
Yeah.
'Cause our meeting's on the 8th of December, there's plenty of days there.
If you have it, 10 days before the end of the.
After you make those changes and you send it out to everybody, print me a copy and give me a call so I can take it.
So I'm saying we want to get the 30-day ad advertised for the 30 days.
Let me know, see if you have it done, we'll make sure that those are summarized, right? So we don't summarize.
One in December.
Okay.
No.
And extra one is a problem.
Your final budget, you have to have 10
I know you
days.
have it
Right.
already.
But all the things they talked about, that can all be handled after the total budget. And then, right.
Stacy, what line?
I make a motion. Motion will be made to accept our proposed budget for 2026 for the borough of Scottdale based upon the, let me get this correct. Great, our revenue base is reading off of here, am I correct? Stacy, the revenue base of, 2,131,303.
Yes, that's correct. That's before changes.
Okay, that's correct. Thank you. Before changes and, I'm trying, I don't have on this page.
It's all the way down the bottom. 2,076,928.
Thank you. Okay, what?
Say that.
What?
2,076,2,076 and nine, or 2,076,928.
Right, okay?
Yes.
That's my motion.
A second on the motion,
Second.
question on the motion,
I would advise, Mr. President, that we do roll call on this.
okay? Roll call vote. To accept the preliminary budget
With the changes.
Proposed.
That's what I'm saying,
I got it.
proposed preliminary budget with changes.
All right, Mrs. Robson,
Yes.
Mr. Sewell,
Yes.
Mr. Pinsky,
Yes.
Mrs. Jagger,
Yeah.
Mrs. Colbeck,
Yes.
motion passes.
Okay. I guess. See you around.
Thank you for all sitting through the
Sorry.
most important part of government, local government, how we're spending the money, right? Thank you for sitting.
Okay, correspondence from the Historical Society.
Alright, the Historical Society would like to hold their third annual parking meter decorating contest again this year. And they're asking for permission to cover the meters on Pittsburgh Street, Spring Street, Stoner Street between November 27th and January 4th. The meters would be covered with thick garbage bags to protect them from any damage. And they're asking for your consideration and
I think it's been a beautiful thing and a good thought for the community. It's exciting, really. I'll have motion to
Motion.
Sheridan, Mary Johnson. Question on the motion? Those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Seminars, stormwater separation project.
What's, Mr. Eby's report?
Oh, engineers, I'm sorry.
You doing seminar?
Yeah, I'm reading seminar, but jumping down.
So no seminar?
No, there's no seminars, it's the engineer's report.
Okay, so we did get all the permits back to, border the railroad back down behind Sheets and install those two inlets there, so, I think the first of the year, they put it in January to put that out. Um, then the other one is we're still working with the sewage authority up there. We have, they dig where they patch the road, I gotta get down in that manhole. There's 3 storm lines that connect into that manhole that need to be sealed up, so.
What's that? Right outside the door here.
Up here, next street up here on the left, where they had to go rough there, they took staff that manhole was paved over, so, we kind of figured there was one in there. They found it and, raised it up and everything, so now they want us to get down and seal those pipes off. I brought it up a couple, I think two meetings ago, we just haven't got to it, but they're pushing me to get it down here for winter time. They want it, so they're not getting the spring rains in the sewer system, so, I got, Ryan Suter lined up to send a guy down in there and seal it up, so.
So there's estimated with those 2 projects we're looking at.
Well, the one down here, we're looking at probably around 75,000.
25,000.
And then up here, we're looking right around 5,000.
So we have an account that, sewage funds will need for the transfer. 75 and 5. So estimated. We have that funds. Can you tell me how much is in there?
Yeah, pull it up on.
It's not
I
part,
didn't
it's not part of the general fund budget. That would be the account that we had from the sewage authority when they were making payments to us before it merged over. And that's specifically only for stormwater separation projects. That's where we have those going in there. At least those 2. Steve was trying to pinpoint them that they couldn't name anything else because we were trying to hold them down to not making us do other projects. By law, we have to.
Okay, Gary, solicitor's report. Nothing else, mayor's report, is that not here? Public comment, bring them, does anybody have anything else?
I have something to say. I don't wanna go behind your back, so I'll just stay up here. As a resident and member of Scottdale Borough Council, I just wanna take a moment tonight to think about, as we look ahead to prepare our new year, one that's gonna bring new faces in, new ideas, new opportunities for our community. Each one of us that's sitting on this council, and many of you in the room, if not all of you, probably all of you, care deeply about Scottdale. That's why we're here. We wanna see the town grow, thrive, and continue to be a place where we're proud to call home. But to do that, we have to work together. This means setting aside personal agendas and focusing on what's best for our whole community. It's easy to point fingers and take frustrations out on social media, but that doesn't solve problems. It often creates more. What truly makes a difference is rolling up our sleeves, sharing ideas, and being part of the solution. Every one of us has a role to play in shaping the future of Scottdale, and what starts with respect, communication, and cooperation. No town is perfect. Every community has its challenges, and ours with no exception. But what sets a great town apart is how they respond. We can either dwell on what's wrong, or we can come together to make things right. Let's choose the latter. Let's be a council and a community that focuses on progress, not politics or teamwork or turmoil. At the end of the day, we're all volunteers doing our best to serve our neighbors. Sometimes that means we need new ideas, more helping hands, a little grace from one another. Let's keep our focus on moving Scottdale forward together by looking for the good, fixing what needs improvement, and remembering that this town belongs to all of us.
Anybody else?
Actually, yeah, if you don't mind, well said. Thank you so much. And had I written and prepared my comment, I would have had to tear it up anyway. I certainly came here with a different expectation in mind. And what I saw tonight actually, thanks directly in part, well, directly to Mrs. Colbank, Ms. Rapinski, and Mrs. Yeager to say that for the anticipated vacancy, you would like to take the opportunity to engage with the community to fill that seat.
because it is not, I mean, obviously timing being what it is, can't be up for a vote the way that this position normally would. And so rather than, talking to that point, I just wanted to take this opportunity instead to thank you all for the discourse that you're having, for the resilience and strength that you all are showing to have difficult conversations, endure name calling, and still laugh and still applaud and still move forward through the night. And you're absolutely right. I mean, the people that we voted in to these new positions and the people that are still here certainly are people that we are looking to and we see throughout the year working so hard because Scottdale is just such a wonderful place. So yeah, so I guess that is just, I think, my new comment. So thank you all.
Anybody else?
I like to yell. No, push a little further up. Ready? Okay, my name is Brian Stefano. I live at 707 Walnut. I am the third ward. Was wanting to say one thing I wanted to bring upon with the water information because I did get that. I wanted to indulge a little bit. I grew up in Wilton, which is a little past Herney, and I am from Port View originally. I was raised by the greatest generation. The reason I ask you those questions, why I say those questions, not because of my background, anything else, because I chose to move here, like our gentleman in the audience. I chose to move here, and Port View is the same situation that Scottdale is in now. And Port View went the opposite direction. Reason I know that, my dad is an alumni of Port View. He lived there for years, grandparents, 2 generations. They did the opposite. I sat in council meetings, sat in things with everything else going on. They went through the same problem with the middle school on the barrier between McKeesport and the river there. Arsenic, they had pyrite, I believe, at that point, and that whole building is gone now. Why? Because the county, via Allegheny and McKeesport, stepped in, broke McKeesport, but again, a blighted place. Same issue. Older population with the steel mills. So I wanted to ask you that information because that is something I do not want to see my generation via the people here now going through the same thing that Port View did because they struggled and their taxes went up for years, which put it a blight, not even a physical blight, but a blight on their taxes information. I also wanted to ask you in the beginning of the conversation, the whole council meeting was if we are not going to take these elderly people to court, people who, like my previous landowner who passed away, had multiple pretty much citations from grass, from maintenance, and he was an elderly man, never married, never had kids. So who's going to take care of him? There's a lot of people in this world, like you said as well. Take care of your neighbor, be nice to people. So what I'm going to ask too is I saw online that they have the junior council stuff. Since it is wintertime, a lot of the grass doesn't need cut right now. A lot of the maintenance doesn't need done. Leaves, yes, that's kind of, we're getting to that point where it's right at the tip edge where it's gone. Isn't there something we could do if it's a volunteer base going through the school to get volunteer hours? If people need that for, like I myself, when I went to school, I took a volunteer hours in high school to make that hour so I can apply to colleges, apply to things that I needed to do, have that retro time so I can proceed with my life, but doing good deeds on my resume. Because when you're 17 years old and you're getting out of high school, what do you have really in your name? You went to school. So that's one thing I'm saying too. If we're not taking these people for citations, for $25 fines, isn't there something we can build as a community saying, hey, there's a set amount of people, here's the pictures, here's the faces, we have to go down that line, we get a little badge and everything. The borough acknowledges who these people are, if they're elected, if they're volunteers, whatever works. I'm throwing this out the idea enough now because it's winter time. And this is something that when spring comes around, things are going to change. Grass is going to grow, trees are going to grow, things that may be a nuisance, maybe somebody needs a helping hand. With everything politically right now in the world, regardless what side of the aisle you live on, wouldn't that be nice to help your neighbor with an aging population? My biggest fear is going back to Rilton where they're dissociated at this point. They don't have anything at this point. And Port View that went through the same thing with my family. So just wanted to ask that and thank you for listening to my concern as well with the water.
Great, thank you. All right, Jim. My name is Jim Williams. So, just to follow up, you might not like what I'm here saying, what I've been here saying the last 3 or 4 months, but I hope I'm making you think. At least look at what's going on, trying to identify the problem. I mean, some of you have come up to me personally and said, well, I didn't realize that was going on, or this was that, or whatever. You guys need to stop and be rational about this. We are not headed in the right direction right now. Something's got to change. Big step tonight, bringing county in. We can't do it alone. there are people out there in that community that reached out to me that have knowledge about this stuff that can definitely help with this. They don't want to get involved. And with some of the stuff that goes on here, that's why. Yeah, I mean, tonight's a good example. I think you owe her an apology for your comment. I think you owe Councilwoman Yeager an apology. That's the kind of stuff that's derogatory to what goes on here. I didn't entice that. Nobody enticed that but you. And you've done that before.
That's your opinion.
And I'm entitled to it.
Exactly right.
And to go on with that, you work for us. You're there because of us. And it's okay that we can identify to you the things that we see that think need attention and that's wrong. I ran that man into the ground, had a civil conversation with him on the phone the other day, did we not? We see things differently now. We've talked about some things. I called out what I thought was wrong. And anything that I bring up here, if you can contradict it or you have proof otherwise, by all means, I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm going to apologize. I'm a big enough man to do that. You owe her an apology. And this is all great that we all, need to come together and everything. I understand that. But this community is depending on what goes on right here. And as far as the blight net goes, we've got to stop being reactionary. We need to be proactive. We just can't sit back and wait for this to happen. I know 2 properties that I can see from my house that haven't had anybody in them in 5 years. What's going to happen with them? The one was so bad that I don't think they could get it cleaned out from the last people that left there at 2 o'clock in the morning. So this is the stuff that we need. It isn't even on the radar. This is the stuff that needs to be looked at, taken care of. It's ugly. It's not going to be easy. And I threw Mr. Clausen under the bus. I think he's coming from a neutral state. I've talked with him. I would love for him to head up this blight committee that we could put together if he'd be willing to do that. And you guys would bless off on it. We need to start taking a direction in this step, in this way. Councilwoman Yeager asked about a blight committee a year ago in May.
Well, I think the blight committee comes under protection.
We'll see.
So when I met with the, one of my many meetings with the county, we discussed the blight committee and putting it together, and what they recommended, it would be one council person, say the chair from protection committee, me for administrative role, and then like one person from each ward. It can be whether it be a council person, but they recommended residents because residents talk to one another and they know like what's going on in their neighborhoods, in their wards. They've said that for a effective committee, they would recommend no more than 7 to 8 people tops. So, and that GIS plan that they were discussing with you guys, the total cost was $13,700.
I'm not asking about that.
Yeah.
It's really.
We budget that.
We can, whenever I discuss with them, and I'll follow up with them to confirm it, but when we had our meeting about that, they said if you have an agreement, that we could do a payment plan over a number of years. So we could split that 13,700 up if we do a signed agreement with them over the period of 3 to 4 years.
Can I request something?
3,500
With that.
Can I request something?
Yes.
If council has any further talks with the county as far as pursuing this, open that up to the public, invite us, because I have questions too. I want to know worst case scenario. What's their worst thing that they've done? What hasn't worked? It's not all, roses, I'm sure.
Normally it's put in our pockets to remind us, and it wasn't done this time. Not anybody's fault. But I can appreciate the people that showed up here tonight for that special part of this meeting. I thought it was great. But I think it opened my eyes a little bit. And I can see the concern in the community.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but you say under the committee that falls under. I think you need to take it away from council to get the people in that are afraid to be in this, for lack of a better term, circus or scenario of what's perceived. Okay, because it is. I mean, people talk about it ad nauseum. I've defended this council for a long time on many subjects. I have a big history of that. I've been to, I don't even know how many meetings when this was all upstairs, and I've been here 25 years. You know, I just think that if you separated from this council, you would get input from people that you normally wouldn't. And you still have someone on council being there. It's not like anything behind anybody's back. Does that make sense?
Put that into,
Mr. Clausen, what do you think?
great idea.
I don't want to just throw him out there and, you know.
I think that's Bishop is still.
All right.
But thank you for listening.
Anybody else? All right. I'm ready to move into executive session.
I'd like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
What's on? 5 minutes. You see, what is this sound on?
We're all right. 5-minute break.
So it's a question. So are they
Yes, we were.
That's
Wow. So it's. There's nobody else.